All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Adem Bria. I'm the chair of the License and Permits Committee. So I think I will read some ground rules first, Marlene, if I'm correct.
Yes.
All right, so just quickly, the ground rules. Number one, no one may speak until granted the floor. Number two, CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. Okay, number three, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated out loud on the record during the meeting. Number four, please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Number five, members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom and wait to be recognized. Okay, with that being said, it is now 6:15 p.m. on Wednesday, April 6th. I will call the meeting to order. And Marlene, if you don't mind calling the roll.
Yes. Leroy Andino. Eric Orconcella. Adem Brija.
Here.
Carlos Diaz.
Here.
Angela Donadell.
Here.
Judith Ferraro.
Oh, wait, I was on mute. I'm here.
Thank you. Jessica Morris.
I am here.
Okay. Miguel Pava.
Here.
Shavasia Robinson T.
Present.
And Jordan Wright.
Present.
Thank you. You have a quorum, Madam.
Okay, with that, we will move to the adoption of the agenda. If I don't see any objections, I will adopt the agenda. Seeing no objections, the agenda is adopted. As to the adoption of the March committee minutes, if I don't see any objections, those will be adopted as well. Seeing no objections, then the March committee minutes are adopted. Okay, I don't think there are any announcements. Marlene, I don't know if you have anything you want to announce?
Not this month.
Okay, great. So we will then move along. Informational updates. Again, I don't have any. Marlene, do you?
Not this month.
Okay, great. So next, please. Okay, so with that being said, we will start the liquor license application portion of our meeting. And first up is 2312 Drexel Corp. doing business as Lighthouse Fish Market. They are coming for a method of operation application for a liquor license for a restaurant located at 508-510 East 117th Street. Applicant is seeking to add employee dancing and third-party promoters to the method of operation, which would include DJ, recorded music, karaoke, live music, patron dancing, and security personnel. With that being said, if the applicant is here or a representative, I welcome them to now come. Judith, what is it? I see your finger. Do you have something to say? You're on mute.
Yeah, and exotic dancing. I'd like to know what that means.
I'm just reading what I see on
Yeah.
the screen here. We can cover that. You can
Okay.
ask that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Okay, with that being said, the applicant or the representative, the floor is yours. Tell us about the business and tell us about this method of operation change and why you're requesting it, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We are requesting, can I be heard? Is everyone?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Hi, yes. We are requesting an amendment to our application to clarify for the woman that asked the question, there will be absolutely no exotic dancing. We are looking to kind of incorporate a multicultural experience. So we want to do that through promotion, and there'll be live music some nights. We'll have salsa, merengue, and bachata dancing some nights. We will have karaoke, things like that to incorporate a multicultural experience for the establishment. So we just want to amend the license so we can incorporate that experience.
Okay, thank you. I have questions myself. Normally, I would go first, but in this case, I'd like to hear from committee members, and then I'll ask my questions after. I
Sure.
believe, and then we will move to any members of the public that are in attendance. So who would please raise your hand and I will recognize you if you have something. Okay, Judith, I see your hand raised and so go ahead, the floor is yours.
Okay, you said there wouldn't be any exotic dancing, but yet you have it marked on your application. Karaoke, recorded music, disc jockey, jukebox, patron dancing, live music, which says rock bands, acoustic, jazz, etc. And exotic dancing. So could you please explain if it's marked why you're saying there isn't any?
Well, that shouldn't have been marked. That was possibly done in error, but we will not be having any exotic dancing. We're currently not even open because we are changing the trajectory of how we're doing business at the lounge.
Okay. My other concern is you're right across the street from Applebee's on East 117th Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, where the cars come in and turn. My concern is you're right by a shopping mall, which there's an immense amount of traffic, people going to Applebee's. I'm very concerned about that specific area for basically a club, because that's what it looks like to me. Is there a reason why you chose that area for this type of club where there is so much people traffic and it's right by a shopping mall?
Well, to clarify, it's really not a club, it's a lounge. It
Okay.
doesn't offer the club experience per se. And you know, it is a great location for everyone in the community to enjoy and see. It interfaces a large shopping mall, so those who work in the shopping mall can also patronize the business, as well as the people of the neighborhood that come and shop in the shopping mall can patronize the business, and they have options between us and Applebee's. Now, I do understand your concern with the congestion of parking, and we are also very aware of that. We see a lot of people coming in and they're doing their shopping at Costco and they're double parking in the street. And we're trying to work with DOT to mitigate that issue, because there are many signs that say no standing at all, and we're still not able to kind of curb that behavior because it is a public street. So, you know, we've been closed for the past 2 weeks and it's still the same thing. So I don't think it really is something that Lighthouse can mitigate so much. DOT, as we said, we're working with them to try to mitigate that issue, and they are putting a pedestrian crosswalk in that area as well. So hopefully that slows down some of that double parking and traffic.
Also, your hours state 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. That's a concern for me also.
That will be only on Fridays and Saturdays. It will not be every day of the week.
All right, I'm gonna let someone else speak now, if anybody else
Judith,
wants
we
to
can-
speak to this.
Judith, we can always circle back to you. So if you have more questions that
Yeah,
come,
yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
for, then with that
Okay.
being said, thank you. And Angela, the floor is yours.
Tab, the one question is based on what I'm reading here. What is you're not having exotic dancing, but what is employee dancing? The bartenders
Yeah.
are gonna dance as they pour drinks? Like, what is employee dancing?
Well, if we're having performances, so like if we have a live performance for salsa night, the singers and the performers may also dance or incorporate that into the performance. So that's what we mean by that.
Okay,
That's it, Angela?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
for right now, this seems like a lot to me.
I'm not gonna rush this, so if you have questions, I will come back to you. So Carlos,
Mhm.
I see
Yeah,
your hand is up. Go ahead.
Is the establishment soundproof?
Can you repeat that, please?
The establishment, is it soundproof?
Yes, it has been soundproof, and we've made adjustments because we've had some conversation with residents in the area. We have removed all of the speakers that were attached to the walls, and we now have them away from the walls. There are not as many speakers being used, and we are currently working with DEP to ensure that we are not going above the decibels of 49, which is allowed. So we're doing all of that. We have the sound meters on our phones to take the decibel readings in the evenings, and you literally cannot hear anything unless the door opens. And we will have security also to mitigate any outflow of patients into the street once the performances or events are over.
Thank you.
That's it, Carlos?
Yeah, that's the only question. I have.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I don't move before you're done. Okay, Jessica, you're recognized.
Thanks, Adam.
Cool.
And I've got a bunch of questions. Some of these would probably be for the applicant. Some of them are more general clarifications, being fairly new to the technicalities of this committee and its purview. I think there's responsibility to do as much kind of due diligence and understanding the history of an organization that's coming in to change the way they operate, essentially, which could be good, could be not so good. My understanding is that DL downtown is an operation with similar ownership or perhaps affiliated, and that looks like a similar kind of loungy type experience that's going on, maybe intended for what you've got in the shift going on now. I think, like I said, being fairly new to the committee, I had some concern about the track record, that not necessarily the business had, or the frame of, exotic or employee dancing necessarily, but doing things by the book and construction and being responsible owners and good neighbors. If you're looking to provide a great cultural asset, a place for people to convene and enjoy, it seems like there's been a history of not really doing those things. So I guess my question is, what constitutes a sort of a lounge versus a restaurant versus a nightclub? And, do those things add up to more than a method of operation change, in which case that change might require other types of alignments in the license that you have to operate. Furthermore, I think occupancy and where the building is old, so you don't require a certificate of occupancy, though there are caps on occupancy even when you get a letter of no objection. Just want to make sure that you are intending to, once construction, authorized, permitted construction is complete, that you are intending to operate in good faith with all of those rules. So I guess my question is, and this is as much for the applicant as it is for the sort of knowledgeable members of this committee, is what constitutes a restaurant versus a lounge versus a nightclub? And are we really looking at a kind of a method of operation change, and the form that was submitted seems to be an old form where some of the check boxes are different than the most recent and up-to-date form available from the SLA website, which, yes, having the right box to check does matter. So I'm just wondering if we need to kind of get an update, make sure that our checkboxes align with consistent type of business that's licensed, or if we're out of bounds of a method of operation change.
Should I go first?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, so to clarify, we don't have any affiliation with DL Downtown at all. So it would be unfortunate if we're looking at whatever happened in the past with DL and comparing it to room 112, which is a lounge. Now, as far as what constitutes, restaurants are strictly food service. A lounge would be bar and food service with a limited capacity for engagement for restaurant, patrons. And a club is exactly what it would be. It's strictly for dancing and performance and whatever may be included. And also the certificate of occupancy would be different. And yes, like you said, we have a letter of no objection because the building is old. The building has already been built out. The design and facility design has passed with the health department and Department of Buildings. So we have no construction to do. We're just simply amending the license.
And just a follow-up question to clarify, the DBA on file is not for room 112, correct?
Can you clarify what you mean by that? The DBA is as far as Lighthouse Fish Market? It's all within the same entity.
So yes, the assumed name is Lighthouse Fish Market, which is an active assumed name. Nowhere does it state room 112 from what I have been able to find.
There are two separate liquor licenses.
Mhm.
Jessica, do you mind if I chime in?
Sure.
Because that raises a topic. So I did see both liquor licenses, and 2 points. I don't recall this committee ever reviewing a second liquor license for this establishment. And upon reviewing a hard copy at the premises of both liquor licenses, they both say Lighthouse Fish Market on it. There is no mention of room 112 on either of those. So to the representative, could you address those two issues and then before we move on to new topics?
That's what the ownership has listed. It is the DBA Lighthouse Fish Market. One side is operating as a lounge, the other as the restaurant. So it's simply just a difference in DBA name.
But DBA is doing business as, which is what your establishment would be called. It's not the corporate name. Okay, Drexel Corp is the one that is the entity 2312 that oversees both DBAs. But when somebody walks up to your establishment, there's two separate entrances, two separate awnings. One says room 112, one says Lighthouse Fish Market. I think without having to get into technicalities, those are two completely different DBAs, and it leads to the question as to why room 112 has not been put on any applications.
It possibly is a slight oversight.
So it's an oversight that there's a name of a business and it's not been put on any documents.
It could be. That's something I would investigate a little bit more.
Even though this concern was brought up at the executive meeting that we met in March, and there was ample time to correct that and include this now, that still remained an oversight?
I don't recall that being brought up at the executive meeting in March.
It was because I brought it up myself. So, but if you don't remember, that's fine. There is a record of the meeting, so that would be on the record. I have one other question, and then I have more questions, but I just have one question before I forget, since we're on this topic of what type of application, Jessica, I believe you said if a method of operation sufficient, and I actually don't believe it is, because upon visiting the location, do you have, before I go into, is there a basement?
No.
No basement. Okay, so on this application, you put that there are 2 floors, which is correct. but when I go back to the original application, it only says that there was one floor. But when I visited, it already looked like the second floor had been in use. So there had been a second floor in operation when an application was presented initially saying that there was only one floor. So it is my belief, and I can't remember, Marlene, maybe you could help me. When you actually change the structure of the business or add an additional bar or whatever, it goes beyond the method of operation change. There's another application for that.
I believe it's the method of operation change. I would have to just jog my memory to figure out which one is the other, because the corporate change is adding or removing someone on
I'm
ownership.
on the website. I know there's something else, but I'll try to find it. But back to my question is
Sorry,
simply,
and just to give an assist, it's an alteration.
okay, thank you. So there was a second floor. I don't know when it was added on. All I know is it was added on at some point before the committee ever had a chance to review that there was a second floor, in which case the second floor would have to go through an amendment to have been added if the initial application had been presented as a one floor establishment. So to Jessica, I think to your point, I think an amendment to the license is also needed beyond the method of operation change. And I guess to the applicant, my question is, why wasn't the second floor mentioned on the original application?
It was on the blueprint, I believe.
Well, I don't have the blueprint in front of me. I went back to 2019 when the application was originally presented. On the questionnaire, it asks how many floors the establishment is, and it says one. So that's just what I'm going off of at the moment. And Angel, are you on? Yeah, go ahead. Because I think you had a comment on this as well. I don't want to speak for you, so go ahead. I'm
Sure.
not sure.
No problem, thanks. To your point about an alteration or the spaces being used, the information provided time and again by this applicant in 2019 and now identify the premises being licensed as a restaurant, time and again. At no point in any of the materials submitted by the applicant or their representatives to this community board has there been any communication of the operation of any space on the premises or adjacent to the premises as a lounge. At no point, given ample opportunities and repeated opportunities to submit useful information to the board in the 30-day notice or in CB11's questionnaire, which they've now submitted multiple times. At no point have they said anything other than restaurant. And I think that we, as a board, operate in good faith with applicants and operate given the information that is made available by the applicant at the different opportunities that they have to provide that information. If the applicant is going to withhold and repeatedly not provide that information, I think that calls into question the veracity of the application and the intention, frankly, of the applicant to operate in good faith and negotiate, for lack of a better word, with the community board, that they're seeking support for their application for.
Okay.
The method of operation of the type of establishment, repeatedly again, restaurant, no point lounge, right? The materials provided by the applicant where they're posting their notice is on the Lighthouse Fish Market, the restaurant. No images of Club 111, whatever what you're calling it. None of that information whatsoever. That's problematic. We ask you, you have the opportunity to provide the information. Repeatedly, you did not. We did not keep you from providing the information. You did not provide the information. We asked you again, you did not provide the information. And this evening to say that it was an oversight, it's a little bit hard to believe. When there have been ample opportunities to provide that information. And I would ask just one thing, since you didn't have an opportunity to say so before and your name is coming up as Michael Clopton, if you could please identify yourself so that we can add it to the record.
Again, my name is Shauna Bethley, and I'm currently the consultant for the restaurant. I'm getting information as we discuss, each topic point. And I'm understanding that they sent over on the 23rd certified mail with the amendment of including the name of what the lounge would be. So was that not received?
We do not have that
I'm
information.
sorry, no, I'm sorry, Angel. That was received. What the office received was the amendment to the employee dancing, as instead of employee and exotic, only employee dancing is listed now, and that was highlighted. And I received an email of it, and we did not receive a certified copy of anything with room 112's on the document.
Okay, I see a certified mail copy of January 2020, I believe, that something was sent over, and this is supposed to list room 112 as a lounge.
What type of document was this? Just out of curiosity?
It was an amended document for an amendment for the community board that they sent over. It included DJ and lounge amendments.
Okay, I don't believe we were in receipt of it. We just have what's been presented as a
And
restaurant.
it's dated January 23rd, 2020. It was sent by the attorney that represents.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'll take your word that it was mailed. It might not have been received. I know with COVID.
I'm sorry, Adem, it's the responsibility of the applicant to provide proof of delivery.
Oh,
Do you
Angel,
have
I'm
proof of
not,
delivery?
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying.
Oh,
we
no,
don't
no, I'm
have-
not saying you are, but I'm responding to the applicant if
Oh, okay,
that's okay.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you have proof of delivery for that?
We do have the certified mail receipt.
That's not what I'm asking. Do you have proof of delivery? Who signed for that package?
No, I don't have that right at the moment.
That's part of the exercise. That's required. Always has been.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more question. Then I think we have members of the precinct here, and I would like to see if they want to speak because they're probably busy and I don't want to keep them on if they have other things to do. So then Judith, I'll get to you. I see, we're gonna get to everybody. Everybody will have a chance to say what they need to say. My question is in reference to the 2 weeks that the establishment has been closed. I'm on the Instagram for the establishment, and there was a promotion for an event on April 2nd, Bad and Bougie Saturdays. There was an advertisement on March 26th for Bad and Bougie Saturdays. And then there was on March 18th, I know that's outside of 2 weeks, for Baddie Madness, but I was told that yesterday or whenever we met this week, I'm losing my mind a little bit, that after we met with executive, none of these events were happening. And so I see 3 events since then, none of which are being said that are going to be the type of event that you're moving towards, and 2 that are in the time frame of the 2 weeks that you say that you've been closed.
So we were, from my understanding, what I'm understanding here is there were 2 events that were pre-booked on a Saturday that still went on, but all other days we have been closed.
Okay, but you said that you've been closed for 2 weeks. You didn't say I was closed for 2 weeks except for 2 Saturdays. So there's just this constant pattern of omission of information, even when a very direct, straightforward question that is factual in an answer, and it just is never coming back. And I mean, ultimately, my main issue here as the chair of this committee, and I chaired it back then, is I was under the impression that we were reviewing an application for a seafood restaurant. And room 112 is not a seafood restaurant. But I will end my piece there. Marlene, is somebody here from the precinct? I don't know if they wish to speak or if they're just here to observe.
Yes, so before the precinct goes on, in terms of the happy hour, to Michael's representative and Michael, it stated that your happy hours would end at 7 p.m. It seems that they're going on longer. And that's also what's causing a lot of the constituent complaints. Because it's attracting a certain type of crowd to your business. Can you speak to that, please?
Sure. So we understood when we did receive the complaints, and we did speak to the community board previously. We attended the nightlife meeting that the 33rd precinct put on, and we are in understanding that we are going to change the trajectory of that. We're going to shorten the hours. We're not going to do long-term promotions with late hours anymore. So we're definitely changing the outlook of what 112 will be offering.
Okay, Adem, just if it's okay for me to say this, just in terms of the stipulation, because the stipulation doesn't list any of what you just said, ma'am. So it has to be revised.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, because if we're going back to the original stipulation from 2019, I believe it said not the happy hours, but also related to the promoted events, and there would be no more than 3 per month. And I've seen on the social media weeks where there were 6 events in a single week, so that's a big difference from 3 a month. Okay, Marlene, I don't know now about if somebody is here from the precinct or the NYPD and wants to speak.
Yes, Officer Powers and Officer Cosmes are both in attendance to this meeting.
Okay, welcome. The floor is yours. If you'd care to comment, we'd appreciate it.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we have received a lot of 311 calls complaining about
Right.
noise from that area. It hasn't been anything that has made it a chronic location or anything like that. It's just community concerns. They call the office, they call 311 complaining about the noise. The only other thing is there was only one incident earlier. Can you remind me the month?
It was in March.
It was in early March. There was a slashing around the corner from the location. Since then, we had met with the establishment and we have seen improvements. And then from there's been no other incidents of that scale, any other incidents in general. The only other issue is the 311 complaints about the double parked vehicles. That's it, right? That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for being here. We really appreciate it. Okay, Jessica, you're recognized. You're on mute.
Thank you, Adem. And this is small change just while the restaurant is here. I know I've had issues with the restaurant nearby where I live, being unable to open the windows because of the fan on the kitchen exhaust system, which is installed on the roof. I'm making incessant noise. It's not nightclub noise, but it is mechanical noise. And it's something that's very hard to pinpoint, target, and stop. And if you are responsible in some way for equipment on the roof that is not properly maintained or was not properly installed, that is causing a nuisance to the residential neighbors. I know you're on technically in a commercial district, but right next to a residential district. So that is something to perhaps consider in this turn towards improving neighborhood relations.
So we have done so within this last week and a half. We had a licensed contractor come out as well as spoke to acoustic engineers. We have changed the motor, which was a 5-speed down to a 3-speed, which has significantly mitigated that noise from the motor, throughout the day. We also spoke to staff and did some staff training about if there's no use for the motor to be on, that we're taking it off and it does not run 24 hours.
Sounds like you're moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Marlene?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw what I sent you just in messaging them, but we strongly encourage constituents that are on this call. If you have anything to say after them, I'll close the floor for committee members to speak. If you would like to on the record and state your concerns, okay? If you are willing to do so.
Thank you, Marlene.
Mhm.
Okay, Judith, you're recognized. You're on mute, Judith.
Sorry. All right,
Sorry,
when I
you're-
had asked about, you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah, when I had asked about the exotic dancing, straight on the 30-day notice, it says addition of dancing, employee and exotic, and third-party promoters. It's right on the 30-day notice. Also, my concern is on number 8 on the stipulation where it says, I will not have DJs, live music, promotional events, etc. All of that is not checked off, which it should be because all of that is going to happen. And it says scheduled is checked off. What does scheduled actually mean?
We already have the permission for DJs and live music, so it didn't need to be checked off to my understanding. And can you state your last question again?
You know, it says scheduled. What does scheduled mean? You checked off scheduled.
I'm not too sure what that means. I'll have to get back to you on that.
All right, but my concern is on the 30-day notice. It clearly states employee and exotic.
We're not going to do that. It's not a strip club and we're not going to have any exotic dancers.
Well, then the 30.
I'm
You know
sorry,
what?
Judith. The applicant sent an amended notice that I sent to you all. And they took off the exotic piece. So that's what this rep is referring to. So now it only says employee dancing, and that's what Angela addressed earlier, that it only.
Right,
says-
okay, all right. I'm
Clarification.
sorry, I didn't
yeah,
see the.
Judith, that's why when I read the initial, what you see on your screen, that's what they're applying
Yeah.
for. So anything you see differently, it's been changed. So thank you for that,
Okay.
Marlene. All right, I
All
don't, okay, so if anybody from the committee has a question come up, I'll come back to you. In the meantime, I do see a hand up in the attendees. Marlene, I don't know whose hand that is. And if they'd wish to speak.
It is Vanessa. Vanessa, you have the ability to unmute yourself on your end. Stephanie Baez has her hand raised. You have the ability to unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Good evening.
I don't think I have the ability to turn on my camera, but I am here. I'm a real person. I am also a resident of East Harlem and I live right on Pleasant Avenue, less than a block away from this location. I can tell you that I've seen personally an increase in noise levels and some questionable activity in what is otherwise a very quiet street. Seems to be directly stemming from this location. I've been living here for a number of years, and this is the first time I'm kind of seeing something like this. So I personally would just like to state to the members of this committee, after hearing all of your questions so far, say thank you for taking such a deep dive into this application, because I think it's very much warranted. And I would also take that level of precaution and take a deeper dive into what employee dancing really means here, because that does warrant, like I said, a lot of clarification for those of us that live in the area and have to deal with the after effects or spillover from this location. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much for being here. And I guess to piggyback on what Ms. Baez said, and I think it was raised earlier, if the dancers are going to be from promoted events, so they're not going to actually be full-time employees, wouldn't the word employee be something different? I would assume employee
Yeah,
dancing.
because we still have to apply, we still have to provide them with the 1099, so they would still technically be employees, whether
Okay.
they're full-time, part-time, or per diem.
Okay, thank you. All right, that answers that. All right, so I don't see any more questions at the moment, but I actually want to read something that was drafted by Marlene and Angel. They wrote a resolution.
Before you start that, can I just input for Stephanie as well? There is a comedy club directly next door to this establishment that is inset within 506 East 117th, and they do have a large crowd that comes in. A lot of times it's missed, and we are being blamed for the spill out or the noise that comes from the comedy club and their advertising. And Applebee's again is directly across the street, which draws a large crowd as well. They offer happy hours and play music, and they even have outdoor speakers, which technically isn't allowed. So there are other establishments directly on this block that also are contributing, not just Lighthouse Fish Market.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification. I've been living here long enough to know that that noise is not coming from Applebee's and that they are very good about shutting things down at midnight. But the comedy club is new and also frankly just a surprise in its presence as well. So I was wondering about the legality of that comedy club and the use of that space. But appreciate the clarification, like I said. And even if your employee dancers are having to file 1099 forms, it still raises to me the question of what kind of dancing.
Yep.
Live dancing for live bands, birthday celebrations. If we do, let's say, a class for the neighborhood, they can use the space in the back. If we do live karaoke, things like that, where there is both enjoyment by the patrons and the employees. That's what we have in mind.
Okay, thank you. Jessica, I will recognize you. Just on the topic of the comedy club, if anyone is still here from the precinct, I believe in our walkthrough, the comedy club we spoke about it, and I don't want to speak incorrectly, but if you could verify that the comedy club kind of closes pretty early from your experiences patrolling that area, is that correct?
So my partner and I haven't personally dealt with the comedy club, but we have one of the NCOs here, Officer Pescator, and he'll shed a little bit of light on that.
Thank you so much.
How you doing?
How are you?
So I actually met with the owners. They run 2 shows nightly at 7 and 10. And they have no liquor license, so they're not serving alcohol at the events. It's just on one floor of the upstairs. It's where the gym used to be.
Okay, so the show at 10, I'm assuming then they're probably wrapping things up around midnight. Would I be correct in assuming that?
Yeah, probably by midnight.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to shed a little bit of clarity, because I know the comedy club is something, they don't have a liquor license. So Ms. Baez, to your concern, I share it as also a person who lives relatively close to there, but being that they don't have a liquor license, they wouldn't have had to come before this committee. But I definitely think in a larger scope, it might be something that the board would want to look into. So that is appreciated. Jessica, your hand was up, but then it went down. But if you want to speak, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's still up. I'm looking for some solid clarification. The application in 2019 identified 1 floor as the premises. The application we're looking at now also identifies 1 floor as the premises with a maximum number of persons that can legally occupy the premises as 150, which is double what is approved on the letter of no effect, which stands in place of your certificate of occupancy. So both the question about clarification, we talked about the 2nd floor, work on the 3rd floor, I've worked on throughout the building. No basement, though there is a cellar. Clarify where the activity with regard to both, if you could, Lighthouse Fish Market and room 112, where those things happen and what your occupancy actually is, and if an amendment or an adjustment to the paperwork you've submitted thus far needs to happen in order to be in compliance.
Okay, so Lighthouse operates on one floor and one floor only. Room 112 has a small second level that can fit about, I want to say, 15, max 20 people. It is 150 occupancy, as you stated. It's really not a large second level. It's very small. It could fit a small dinner party, maybe like a birthday celebration party.
So I guess I'm not seeing that anywhere on any paperwork, nor am I seeing legal authorization for the occupancy to be 150. Unless we're talking 508 at 75 and 510 at
Correct. That
75.
is correct.
I see. And which one operates where?
The fish market operates at 508 and room 112 is at 510.
Okay, and we still have no documentation on room 112 and 510.
Yes, we understand that. We'll get that updated and sent over.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. I see another hand up in the attendees. I can only make out the part, I think it's Concepcion. I can't see the last name, but if you wish to speak, the floor is yours. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hello, yes. I'm here with my family. We're residents of the community. We live directly across from room 112. And I just want to go back to the representative stated before that the establishment has been closed for the past 2 weeks. Yet this past Saturday, they were open and there was lots of noise. So I don't know if they're being dishonest or what, but they were clearly open on Saturday. And
we did speak about that. I did recognize that there were 2 pre-planned events that happened on Saturday. We did speak about it.
6 days.
okay, but this just seems to be a pattern of deceit that when hearing all the members speak and all the problems that are coming up, seems like everything about this business seems dishonest. There's been a lot of the what's on record doesn't seem to match reality. Living in the neighborhood, clearly see that there's lots of noise. Doesn't seem to be coming from the comedy club that, like you stated, is coming as spillage directly from your club. There's long lines across the street of people rowdy, people getting into fights, constantly making noise into all hours of the night, as early as 4 in the morning. Cars with loud music, double parked on all across the whole block, going into Pleasant Avenue. So how is this going to be addressed by your establishment and security and whatnot?
Okay, so as far as patronage and cars, we do our best to have security move those cars. And with the double parking, it's difficult for us as a business as well. We see double parking throughout the day. It is difficult for us to bring our supplies in. Double parking is a chronic issue for everyone. And I don't think it is a pinpoint issue for us here at Lighthouse, and we're causing all of that double parking. So I think it's a little unfair to completely blame the double parking or loud music or loud speaking on one establishment, especially when there is a mall and multiple establishments in the area. As far as the noise complaints, we are actively working with the Mayor's Office of Nightlife as well as the local precinct. We are willing to work with all of the members of the community to try to mitigate this issue so that there is no negative impact. So we are aware and we're actively working on this. And there's no need for us to be deceitful, you know, and that's definitely not what I'm here for. I have a long history working with the city mayor's office as well as Department of Health, and I understand the impact of a new place opening and what it could have on the residents of the neighborhood. And that is why I was hired. So I can mitigate some of these issues that's happening. So this is helpful hearing all of this, but I also want to do this in fairness and not target one establishment as the bad apple.
Excuse me, you say that, you were closed for the past 2 weeks. So why are we hearing, and not only just on the weekends, this also happens during the week? And.
We're not open during the week.
Excuse me, it's my turn now.
Oh, wow.
It's my
Wow.
turn. Yes,
Wow.
wow, that's exactly how we feel with all this nonsense. You say that it's just on weekends, but we hear it during the week and we hear it at 4 o'clock. Applebee is closed at that time. And the comedy club is closed. So don't say that we don't know where the sound is coming from when we see all the fancy cars that we never had before. As soon as you open this place, are popping up. And my concern is summer is coming. Summer is coming. We hear all these shootouts, even when there's no clubs. We hear like 2 weeks last week where the lady got shot just coming out of a grocery store. So how are we supposed to feel comfortable when all this nonsense is coming out at 4 o'clock? And we hear it because we're right across. So we know what's happening. You can't say it's not happening because we're right in front of the whole situation. I let my son speak because he was speaking nicely. And now you trying to cover crap up. And I'm saying crap because that's bullshit what you're saying.
Okay, well, I won't have you cursing at me, so that would be unacceptable.
All right, time out.
Excuse me. I'll take it back.
I will ask you to step in, please.
Excuse me, I'll take that back.
Ms. Camacho, Ms. Camacho, I totally understand where you're coming from. I don't think you were cursing anyone. I believe you were using some language of frustration, but let's just try to keep it.
No, I said I take it back. Excuse me, I take it back and I apologize to the whole community.
That's fine. I appreciate you being here. I understand your feelings. Do you want a response to what you said, or is there more you would like to say?
No, I think we have said, and I do see cops sit there and go by and all that, but it's still happening. And like for her to say that we don't know, we can't blame the club, but it's happening after all these situations are closed. The mall is closed. The comedy's closed. Applebee is closed. And it's been a quiet community. It's been a very quiet community, even with the mall there with so much people coming and going. And now suddenly, in the past few months, it's been crazy. Okay, now you can respond to my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. If the applicant would like to respond, the floor is yours. It's up to you.
Well, I will be on, during the week, we have not been open because I have been here during the week. So we have not been open. And to further address any of her other things in anger, what she said, I'm not comfortable speaking or engaging with her. So we send on to the next person.
So I had to hear all your stuff, but now that we speak, because we from the neighborhood, now it's okay. Oh, I don't want to speak.
It's how you say it. It's not what you say.
Ms. Camacho, everything you said, though, is being taken into consideration by the committee. And we heard everything you said, and we understand your concerns and your frustrations.
Thank you.
So it is definitely recognized and it is appreciated. So thank you for that. And to actually bring up something you mentioned, and then I will ask myself, it was brought to my attention yesterday that spots are held open for these fancy cars to come park in front of the location. That does sound, is that happening? And if it is,
absolutely not. We don't, there's no parking on this block.
No, right in front. So I walked there, right in front of the location though. You have like the curb where you could pull cars up right in front. I heard that those spots are kind of held.
That's hearsay.
Okay, that's hearsay. Okay. So then I don't see any other hands up. Well, Jessica, I will go to you. I just want to say one thing to the comment of deceit. I normally wouldn't speak in those terms myself unless it was in writing, but there has been a clear pattern of deceit. Now, I'm not saying it's by you, the representative, because I don't know when you came on here, and it could be very possible that you were trying to fix all this. But when I look at it, how can the applicant tell us that there is no deceit when there is a place called Room 112 that is operating as, in your words, a lounge, And there is no record of this anywhere. And this has been going on for quite some time now. How can you honestly sit here and tell everybody that that is not a form of deceit? I just feel like if there's accountability, then maybe there could be compromise in negotiation. But I'm just hearing a lot of finger pointing, and I'm not really hearing a lot of, I'm hearing, we'll fix this, we'll fix that, but I'm not really hearing accountability on the fact that this committee has been very misled. And as the chair, I take that to heart because this is a committee that I oversee, but I also know that my members are very dedicated and they take that to heart as well. So it is offensive to us. And let me rephrase that. It is offensive to me. I will not speak for everybody else, but I have been offended by the way this whole thing has been presented. I'm not.
So I will say I am sorry for the offense. I recently came on and my job is to clarify anything that may be unclear to any of you. So all of this, I'm also taking notes to take back and review and to ensure that you're receiving the information you need to make a conscious decision and not a decision based on hearsay or assumptions. So I will be updating everything that you are requesting. And this is why we invited you for the walkthrough, because I wanted you to actually see the floor and the floor plan and to see the type of operation that we have here. So the intent, I don't believe, was to deceive. That never is the intent, because the business relies on the community board for a lot of the license that is needed. And the business would never come to a community where they felt they wouldn't thrive. So I don't believe that the deceit was intentional. I won't speak for anyone, just like you don't, but I do believe that we're trying to really get things together so we can have a better relationship with the community board, because right now I understand it might be a little shaky.
I do appreciate you. I do appreciate the transparency with the walkthrough. Just in the comment to the licenses, again, I think this may have been something that happened before you came on. There was a second license obtained for an additional bar license, and that was never presented to the board. So while we are technically being said that there's a reliance in licenses for us, a second license was obtained, to my knowledge, without any input or information provided to this committee or to this board. But I'm not really asking for a response to that. It's just a comment on what I saw. I don't know if you were there at the time. With that being said, Jessica, you were recognized. The floor is yours. You're on mute.
Muted. Thank you, Adem. This is a long conversation, but I think I also sit on the Public Safety and Transportation Committee, and I know very little about the long history of this short little stretch of contested parking in front of your establishment, but it is something that is being talked about both with our elected officials who are involved there and the Department of Transportation, along with other stakeholders in the area. So I also understand that there are, God love public information, real estate transactions happening as we spoke yesterday with regard to these two buildings now, 508 and 510. So the ownership stake in the neighborhood seems to be here to stay. So it's heartening to see that a good consultant to smooth things out and make sure good business is good business, that bodes well for better than what had happened with construction going on without permits to substantial levels of completion. I'm glad to see we're back on the right track, but what I'm getting at is this strip of contested parking and potential investment in public dollars in seeing that this is a more pedestrian friendly place. It seems like pedestrians go round the clock. So your 4 a.m. pedestrians, maybe the same need set as 11 a.m. pedestrians. It may be worth finding a way to be a part of those conversations, because as we're hearing, your activities spill out onto the street. And we would hope that there's some consideration for that as we look to both protect pedestrians as they leave places so that nobody gets hurt while they're moving from one place to another, but also so that you're aware of what parking requirements may be shifting right outside of your front door. Public safety and transportation meets, I believe, first or second Tuesday of each month, and we're due an update on the East 117th redesign, I think, in coming months. So it may be something you want to know about or inquire about.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay, thank you. Angela?
Hi. This, after all the conversation that has taken place, may seem a simple question. Why are you opening at 11 a.m.? If it's a lounge and they serve alcohol and children are around during the day, they're right by the mall, which means obviously children are there. Why do you need to open at 11, or when do you actually start serving the alcohol?
No, we don't start serving. Hi, Angela. We don't start serving alcohol at all at 11 a.m. There is a restaurant attached to this establishment as well. It's called the Fish Market, and we have a variety of seafood and sides that we start serving, and we do have a great lunch crowd that comes in from the mall and from the community. So that is the opening hour of 11 a.m. that's reflected.
Angela, does that?
But I thought they were two different things. Isn't that what this has been about? That there are actually somewhat two different establishments. So one's a food, the other's a lounge. So I don't understand how you can equate the two, but that's fine. We have to take a vote, don't we?
Yeah, we do, but I mean, I'm trying to get everyone who can speak, who wants to speak. Angela, in reference to your comment, also, it's not just the mall. There is, I believe, a school that's 485 feet from the entrance, which would be, I'm gonna say, I think it's the Manhattan Math and Science High School.
Right
That's
on
around-
Pleasant Avenue.
Yes, so that's just, so I just want to put that for the record.
And I believe they have high school students in
That's
there.
that is, I believe that's a high school, yes.
Right.
Okay, I
Right.
have another hand up in the attendees, and I do want to recognize everybody from the attendees who came tonight. So, Lorena, the floor is
Yes,
yours.
hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. First of all, I'd like to say that I find the characterization of this location as being a restaurant quite dubious. To the extent of my knowledge, and from what everyone in the neighborhood has come to tell me about this location, not to mention what I hear also at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. The restaurant itself is not a sit-down restaurant. So when you were approached in 2019 with the concept of this being a restaurant needing a liquor license, I'm not sure the reason why you need a liquor license when you're only serving takeout. This is not a sit-down restaurant. This is a go in, put in your order, and walk out with your paper bag.
That's
So-
not true. There's sit-down areas for this establishment.
Oh, this must be new and different. Meanwhile, insofar as your lounge is concerned, I hear the noises from your lounge well into the early hours of the morning. I've had complaints from, I own several pieces of property in the area, and I've had complaints from my tenants about this. I've had complaints from some of the long-term neighbors about this. Also, my understanding is with regard to the requirements of the SLA, you've got to be outside of 500 feet, linear feet, which I am not quite sure that you are. I'm not, and I'm even more mystified as to how you are able to get a liquor license to begin with. Not to mention all of the additional amendments and addendums that you want to throw in here. To me, you're on the periphery of a cabaret license necessity. So, insofar as why did you choose this location? I mean, from my gut reaction and having been in the real estate business for probably 40 years now, I would think that the type of operation that seems to be running maybe prior to your coming into the picture But the operation that had been running heretofore, I guess they thought it was going to be a nice little quiet place where they could do whatever they wanted to do down the block, which is almost like a dead end because of it, because of the fact that the mall closes at a certain point. But you know, I happen to be here. I have property around the corner, so I'm hearing this a block away. There were, people told me they heard gunshots not long ago. There were maybe 20 police cars that had to converge on Pleasant Avenue in connection with the slashing, where the people that got into the altercation had a direct connection to your establishment. And honestly speaking, I mean, we have a school. Yes, it is. It's a high school, math and science. We've got Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which is a church that's right across the street. We've got a parochial school on 119th Street. Now that might get you out of your 400 linear, but we still have a parochial school 2 blocks away. And we also have an elementary school 2 blocks away. I'm amazed that you even got a license. Forget about a renewal, not to mention, how did you get the second license that it does not seem that you went in front of the board to obtain? This is very concerning.
I believe there were questions asked, if the applicant wants to respond.
I'm not clear on what exactly the questions were.
Okay, Ms. Torres, do you want to just frame the questions and try to keep it succinct so the applicant can try to answer them?
Well, I guess what I'd really like to know is how you think you're going to keep a crowd of people under control. That's a very short stretch of sidewalk where you are. If your occupancy can top out at 150, and we all know that's never going to happen. If anything, it's going to be 300 in real life, despite what you're going to tell me now. How are you going to keep all of that contained? Because up to this point, you certainly have not been able to. And the you is the royal you, by the way. I'm certainly not personalizing it toward you per se. But since you're representing these people that I don't think many of us really want here, unfortunately, you get the royal you. So up to this point, they brought a lot of problems into the area. They brought violence into the area. They brought noise into the area. And it's, as I said, it's been very concerning. And, you know, I personally have a substantial investment in the area. And when my tenants reach out to me, expressing their discontent at the way the neighborhood seems to be going, and that there seems to be way too much street activity, much of which is spillover from your club, because regardless of what you call it, it's a club. Okay, I mean, back in the old days, this would have been considered like an after hours, a social club, anything to circumvent the need to run it legally. Because this is, to me, this is what it seems like you managed, or the people at the time managed to craft in order to slide by a takeout restaurant, which is overwhelmingly the business that is there. There may be seats, but there aren't too many people sitting in them. And the quiet running of the lounge next door, until of course a certain hour where it's allowed running of the lounge next door. So what are you going to do to contain the crowds, especially if you're going to amplify your operation with DJs, with karaoke, with live music, with patron dancing, and employee dancing, which I find really interesting. Employee dancing can even end up being lap dancing, as far as I'm concerned. And with the liberal changes of law that have been occurring in the last few years, and with the decriminalization of all kinds of levels of quality of life crime occurring in the last few years, this just adds to the discomfort of living in this immediate area. So how are you're talking about you want to reach out to the neighborhood, reach out to the constituents. How do you plan to do that? And what do you actually plan on doing about the disturbance that your operation is going to cause?
Well, hopefully we're not going to cause much more of a disturbance, because that's why we're here. We're working with the community board, we're working with the police, the local precinct, and we're also filtering out and hearing out what the community is saying. As far as what we're doing, we've hired a brand new security team. So they will be, making sure that there's no loitering. And we're planning on operating within the stipulations of the liquor license. So, and even though we have the stipulations until 4 a.m., we don't intend on staying open until 4 a.m. So we are hearing the outcry from the community, and we're working tirelessly to address those issues. They're definitely not being ignored. I even invite you to come on in to see what the location looks like, because I think there's a little bit of a misinterpretation of this is a restaurant. Yes, there is a heavy takeout because we do have a heavy lunch crowd, but we do have seating and dine-in service as well. So I invite all of those who have concerns to stop on by and to talk to us, because we do not want, a bad reputation, and we don't want a horrible relationship with the community. That wasn't the purpose of opening this establishment within this community. There was no hopes of being of oversight. We know that this was a residential area. The client is well aware of the residents of this area, and we hear the outcry, and that's why we are here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take two more hands, one from the committee and one from the public. So Angela, go ahead.
Go back on video. I was trying to have some dinner. My question, you said you will have security. So here's my question. Who is going to provide the security? Will it be licensed security guard, people with licenses that have been trained, or former police officers, or just somebody you found that needed a job and you told them to become security?
No, they're bonded and licensed. A lot of them are former NYPD officers. We understand that, well, for me, when I stepped in, I understand that you can't just hire anyone. You can't hire your friend that just needs a job to do something so big as protecting the community as well as your establishment. So no, they will be licensed security.
Okay, thank you. So, all right, I'm going to take one final question. It's from the attendees. I can't make out the whole number. It's 646-541. If you can unmute yourself, state your name, and then the floor is yours.
Okay, the only thing I want to say is,
Can you, you don't have to state your name. If you want to stay anonymous, that is totally fine.
anonymous. The only thing I want to say is not safe. It's dangerous. We, the community, I was born and raised in this community, born and raised, and none of us knew that this establishment was going to be built here. We have kids, we work, our kids go to school. My son is scared. Why is my boy scared? And I'm providing shelter for him. And it wasn't like this because I moved here before Applebee's was built. And when Applebee's was built, there still wasn't a problem. This noise is crazy. Imagine trying to go to sleep. Imagine waking up to noise, fighting, screaming, yelling, police. We shouldn't have to live like this. And that's all I want to say. Please help us. We should not have to live like this. This is not make believe. This is real life because I'm living it, but my kid is living it too. And as a mother, I'm a bear. I'm going to take care of my son. And we're just asking for help. Please help us because this is crazy. And I've been in this neighborhood for a long time. I'm not making this up. The neighborhood is not making this up. It's real life for us. Real life. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I want to just say I appreciate the feedback from everybody, from the public, from the precinct, from the committee. I also appreciate the applicant for being here and answering all the questions to the best of their ability. Before I go ahead and entertain a motion, oh, Marlene, go ahead.
Sorry, before you entertain a motion and go into a vote, not to belabor this any further, but I don't want the applicant to leave with the rep. Do you guys want to go over their stipulation right now? Because it has to be revised and then emailed back to the office. So would you like to do that with them?
I kind of want to see how the vote goes before, I want to see what the motion is and we can amend it and go in there. I'm not sure
Okay.
where we're gonna, yeah, I appreciate that, but I don't know if it's, I don't want to take extra time if we don't need it, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, with that being said, before I entertain a motion, I do want to read something that I was going to read earlier, but we had a lot more, I think, healthy discussion. Okay, this was an email that Angel sent to the committee today, so I don't know if all the committee members read it, but I'm going to read it for the record, and I'm also going to read it for the applicant and everyone in attendance. All right, so I'm going to read the whole email. This is from Angel. These are his words, just so we're clear. Okay, so it's hello all. Marlene and I drafted a resolution, see attached, consisting of our recommendations regarding the Lighthouse Fish Market method of operation change. It is our view that the applicant has not operated in good faith with the board's support for the initial application for restaurant in 2019. This location on 117th Street east of Pleasant Avenue is a poor location for a club lounge with promoted events, happy hours, bottle service, etc. The operator attended the executive committee meeting in March and heard numerous concerns about room 112, the bar lounge space that was not part of the type of establishment presented to the board in 2019. Also attached are copies of promotional posts to the room 112 Facebook page for event with happy hours until as late as 9 p.m. The applicant had a signed stipulation in 2019 that happy hours would end at 7 p.m. A recent site visit by Adem, myself, and Adem and Xavier confirmed that the second floor is part of the bar lounge in spite of the Lighthouse initially being presented as a one-floor establishment. We hope this is helpful for your consideration of the application, and now I will actually read the attached resolution. Okay, I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. Regarding 2312 Drexel Corp doing business Lighthouse Fish Market application for a method of operation change for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 508-510 East 117th Street, New York, 10035 Pleasant Avenue. Whereas 2312 Drexel Corp doing business as Lighthouse Fish Market, the applicant is seeking a method of operation change for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 508-510 East 117th Street, Pleasant Avenue. Whereas the applicant is seeking to add employee dancing and third-party promoters to the method of operation, which would include DJ, recorded music, karaoke, live music, patron dancing, and security personnel. Whereas in September 2019, the applicant sought this board support for a full liquor license for a restaurant to be located on the first floor of 508-510 East 117th Street. Whereas CB11 has been made aware that a bar lounge doing business as room 112 is operating under the license granted to the premises located at 508-510 East 117th Street. Whereas the application signed stipulation states that happy hours would end by 7 p.m. Whereas a review of the Facebook page for room 112 conducted on April 5th, 2022 found multiple posts promoting happy hours as late as 9 p.m. Whereas CB11 has received several complaints from neighbors of room 112 about loud noise, fights, and double parking late into the morning hours. Whereas the New York State Liquor Authority informed CB11 today that the applicant applied for a second license for additional bar on February 3rd, 2020. Whereas the SLA approved the additional liquor license on July 27th, 2020. Whereas the applicant did not notify CB11 of their request for an additional bar license. Whereas in 2019, the applicant agreed to notify CB11 of any alterations to the method of operation or for any physical alterations of any nature without first coming before CB11. Whereas the applicant did not provide CB11 with prior notification of any alterations to the method of operation or any physical alterations of any nature without first coming before this board. Whereas consistent, that's a typo, whereas constituents have lodged 8 complaints for noise to 311, and whereas the hours of operation are Sunday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. Therefore, be it resolved that Community Board 11 recommends the New York State Liquor Authority One, deny this application to add employee dancing and third-party promoters to the method of operation change, which would include DJ, recorded music, karaoke, live music, patron dancing, and security personnel. Two, restrict on-premises liquor license serial number 1325459 for use at the restaurant located on the premises of 508-510 East 117th Street as initially presented to this board in September 2019. Number three, revise the hours of operation for this premises Sunday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Four, revoke additional bar license serial number 1325460. Okay, so that is the resolution that has been presented. It's a draft resolution. Jessica, I see your hand. You're recognized.
Thank you, Adam. I just want to bring up, and I don't know the answer because I'm not a land use lawyer or a business lawyer of any type or business professional, but I understand while ownership has merged across 508 and 510, I think that they are still separate zoning lot entities, and I'm not sure that a business can operate across those lines without some sort of formal process. I think it happened fairly recently that 508 and 510 are operational. But like I said, the letter of no effect is only on record for 508. 510 still has no C of O or letter of no effect. So we're still at 75, regardless of if you combine your properties. Again, I'm not a lawyer and I don't know much.
No, that's
but I think, yeah, it's a point of question.
It's appreciated. I understand what you're referencing to, so it makes sense. Angela?
So we have to draft from what you read. We can now motion.
So we can, actually, I wanted to get a little clarity on that. Angel, if you don't mind. So there's a lot in that motion, I mean, in that resolution. I personally think it was very well written. Do we have to make a motion to adopt all the language in there, or can we just make a motion to adopt that resolution if we were okay with it as it's written?
It is absolutely your call. Like you stated earlier, it's our recommendation. You can, if you choose, vote to adopt the resolution as drafted, or adopt a resolution based on this with edits, or I'm just stating the obvious, or draft another resolution. It is, of course, fully in your, the court, the ball is fully in your court.
Okay, and let me ask you if this would make sense to you. Would it make sense to perhaps just take a vote on the application as it's presented? And then after that vote, seeing how that goes, we then could do an additional vote on the resolution? I just feel like the application is not as all encompassing as the resolution. So I don't know if 2 votes make sense. What do you think?
So you're asking for my opinion. I think, in my opinion, I think you can do this. That's, that touches on, what the facts are as we have them, like in black and white. And so that would be my suggestion. But to answer your question further, you can certainly, vote straight up on the method of operation change application, and then take another motion if you so choose. I don't want to be, presumptuous and tell the committee what to do. This is a suggestion, like, just to be clear.
Your input's always greatly appreciated.
I appreciate it.
With that being said, if anybody from, before I don't want to just make the decision for us. Does anybody in the committee have any opinion? Yeah,
My
Angela?
thought, as I was listening to what you was reading, that we needed to make a motion to adopt a resolution that was drafted by the district managers of CB11 first. And vote on that, and then go back and vote on this. Or do we get to vote on the resolution? Does the resolution disregard the voting process for the actual application?
Well, so this is how I see it, and that's why I asked the question. I feel like if we make a motion on the resolution and that passes, then that automatically, in my opinion, denies this application, right?
And
so then there would be
that's what my thought process was originally.
So my only suggestion was Judith, hold on. My only suggestion was if we were gonna do it in two, that we actually did item one and we just voted strictly
Right.
on what they're asking
Okay.
for. And then based on that vote, we vote on the resolution. I think it might, I hear Angel, we could probably do it in one. I think it might just be more clear for everybody if we do it in
Okay.
two. Jessica?
Yeah, just there's a friendly
That's-
amendment
that's-
to be made. And whereas number 11, the 11th whereas doesn't actually make sense in the way that it's stated. So as when we get there, I think we can iron it out, but maybe you want to take a look before we get there. However
Okay,
we get there.
okay,
Okay,
I appreciate that. Judith?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Take a motion on their application and then on the resolution.
That's what I'm gonna do. So with that
Yeah,
being said, with that being said, I'm going to open the floor to a motion. And this will just be in regards to item one. And so let me just state it again for the record. 2312 Drexel Corp. doing business as Lighthouse Fish Market, method of operation application for a full liquor license, number 1325459 for a restaurant located at 508-510 East 117th Street, New York, New York, 10035 Pleasant Avenue. Application is seeking to add employee dancing and third-party promoters to the method of operation, which would include DJ, recorded music, karaoke, live music, patron dancing, and security personnel. Angela, I see your hand up.
yep. Motion on the floor to deny the application as written.
I have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Judith. Marlene, if you wouldn't mind taking the roll.
Yeah.
Adem Briha,
Deny.
Carlos Diaz. Angela Donado,
Deny.
Judith Ferraro.
Carlos Diaz denied.
Thank you.
All
Judith.
right, now it's Judith. Deny.
Thank you. Jessica Morris,
Yes to deny.
Miguel Pava. Shavasia Robinson Teague,
Abstain.
and Jordan Wright.
Deny.
The motion to deny this application for its method of operation change is denied.
Okay, now we will move to the resolution. So I know there's going to be some discussion, but we can do that after a motion is made. I'll open the floor to amendments. So does anyone have a motion on the resolution that was read previously, the draft resolution? Angela?
Okay. Though we're motioning to adopt the resolution
Right.
with amendments. Or we have to adopt the resolution and then make the amendments?
Yeah, so you can make a motion to adopt the resolution as is written. And then I
Okay.
believe that there will be friendly amendments, and I believe then you would have to accept those, and then it could be seconded, and then it would be voted on. I
And
believe
we're
that-
gonna do that tonight, or is that gonna go back for us to all look at it over? No,
I
tonight.
read it out loud. I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to, if nobody makes a motion, I would like to vote on it tonight personally, but I'm not gonna make the motion as the chair, so.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second it.
Well, before it's seconded, I know that there was some language on, I believe it was item 11. Jessica, I don't want to call you out, but you had referenced it. I don't know if you want to make the friendly amendment or if.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just looking at it, it's the whereas, the last whereas on the first page. Reading it verbatim, I'm just gonna read it and then we can agree it doesn't make sense and figure out which part we strike out. It says, whereas in 2019, the applicant agreed to notify CB11 of any alterations to the method of operation or for any physical alterations of any nature without first coming before CB11. So I think if you just strike out that without first coming before CB11 at the end, the rest of it makes sense, and that the applicant agreed to notify CB11 both
Before
of any
making
alterations. Yep, yep.
So I made the
Madam, may I?
motion.
Yeah, Angel, feel free.
Just,
please.
just to clarify, so that language is taken like verbatim from the language of the stipulation form. Not that it can't be amended, but that's where the language came from.
Okay, that clears it up. So Judith, it's fine to accept it as Jessica suggested. I understand that Angel didn't actually write that. That was just copied and pasted from the
Right.
stipulation, but Jessica, I think her language actually states it more succinctly and clearly. So it's up to you.
Right.
You made the motion. What do you want to do?
No, I accept Jessica's amendment
Okay, so then there's a motion on the
to the
floor.
to the resolution, yes.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor by Judith to adopt the resolution. She accepts a friendly amendment from Jessica to edit the last two lines of the first page, as Jessica stated on the record, so I will not.
Number 11,
Number
11, right?
Number 11. Jessica, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just curious about, therefore be it resolved, number 2. This question I have of whether the business entity itself is operating, their operational address is 508 East 117th, or whether it's 508-510 East 17th. I don't know. I don't want to, in our documentation, cede to something that shouldn't be referenced inappropriately or not factually. So I think we should just do a little fact checking and kind of determine if that's the right 508-510 or if it's just 508. And I think there's a question because we have this room 112 ? Second liquor license ? And occupancy ? We don't want to give them question marks by referencing 510. Turn the background noise.
We denied the application, but actually on the 30-day notice, it does say 508-510 East 117th Street.
Jessica, can I?
So we denied that. We denied that application.
Well, they still have an application that was approved for 508-510. We just, we
Right.
denied a method of operation change on that address. Jessica, I think I understand where you're going with it, but just correct me if I'm wrong. Because you had earlier mentioned that there was I don't remember the exact term, but there was nothing on the record, certificate of occupancy or anything for 510. So I think, are you correct? Am I correct in saying that you're wondering if we should be even approving anything or for 510 at this point? Or even acknowledging 510?
Correct. Yes, I think technically the owner of the building of 508 East 117th Street is 508 East 117th LLC. The owner of the building at 510 East 117th Street is also 508 East 117th Street LLC. But from a business perspective, I don't know who the license, what building, what place, what location is actually licensed to be doing business is my question here. And if it's only 508 East, the actual location, 508 East 117th Street, not the LLC 508 East 117th Street that owns the building. We don't want to be referencing 508, the building -510 and kind of lumping in the place next door in our resolution if that's not part of the legal entity who is operating this establishment, especially where occupancy is in question. I don't know where I'm sure we can find the answer by just doing a little bit of research, but I would put a bracket on that and say fact check as a conditional approval in our voting. I don't think it changes what we're getting at, but I think we want to be correct just from a point of process.
Okay, I appreciate it. Angel, I'm wondering if you have any input on that?
I think it's worth looking into. I would just say now that the license is noted as 508-510. So until until we have clarification onto Jessica's point, which I think is worth looking into, I would just advise keeping with the 508 fund, 510.
Okay. Would it hurt perhaps, Jessica, I don't know if it helps the resolution, if we add an item 5 then, saying that, to kind of cover that basis, saying that in light that it's not, that it's not a legal address or whatever the legal address. I don't know if there's an extra line we can add that would cover that to give us the ability to check it and not commit us to this. I don't know if that's an idea that would work. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that. If not, I think then I'll go with what Angel said and say we can just vote on it as it is, because that is what is on record, not just with us, but with the SLA too. So for the
Correct.
record, that is what it is. If it turns out it isn't, we can only go on what is on their license, what SLA gave them. They actually, I believe, got more information than we ever did.
Right.
Okay, so I appreciate that. With that being said, then I guess we'll go ahead. Well, it's up to you, Judith. You made the motion. So Jessica made a friendly amendment to the what you accepted. Are you okay with everything as it is? I don't believe there was another friendly amendment. So with that being, Marlene, go ahead.
Yeah, all I ask that whoever is going to make the revisions to when should I have that in my inbox?
I think it's just one line, right? If I'm
It's one
correct.
line. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just that first line. If it helps you, if you want to write it down, if Jessica, since you stated it, if you wouldn't mind, you just said to leave out that last part, if I'm correct, right? So I think it would just be changed to, whereas in 2019, the applicant agreed to notify CB11 of any alterations to the method of operation for any physical alterations. That would be the
Of
line.
any nature,
Any
period.
nature,
Yeah.
period. So we'll
Remove
just-
without
we're
first
taking
coming
out-
before CB11.
Okay, so that was a
Yes.
friendly amendment. That was accepted by Judith, who motioned to adopt this resolution. With that being said, do I have a second?
I'll second it, Carlos.
Okay, seconded by Carlos. So motion made by Judith, seconded by Carlos. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Adem Griha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Judith Carr,
Yes,
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava, Shavassia Robinson T,
Yes.
and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you to the applicant. Thank you to everybody from the public. Thank you to the precinct. Thank you to the staff, everybody. I know this was long and we are just really starting. So with that being said, we will go to item
Okay,
2.
before you move on to the next, will we get any updates on what these motions mean and what you're looking for next from us?
Okay, so the way this will work is the motions made by committee will go to vote at the full board. I don't know the exact date of the full board. I know it's the third Tuesday of the month. And it's
April 26th of them.
That's 26.
April 26th. It starts at 6:30. So this won't be the official position of the board till that full board meeting, and which these items will then be voted on there. Once that is said, then the board would have adopted a position, and that position would have been to deny this method of operation change and also to adopt all the language in the resolution. I don't know the appropriateness of providing you with a written copy of that resolution. If Marlene or Angel knows that, I think that might help give the applicant some clarity, they can review it. So when could they be actually provided that?
We can provide them with a copy of the draft tomorrow. Oh, sorry, Marlene, I jumped in your lane.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's fine.
And
Thank
then
you.
for the adoption of the resolution, do we have to respond to this, or is there an expected response within a certain time frame?
Well, you wouldn't respond to us. Our recommendation is going to go to SLA, And then
Exactly.
SLA is going to make a decision based on our recommendation. And then once that happens, I guess it would depend on their decision. And so I can't really tell you next steps till that would happen. So the procedure, as I see it, is we go to full board on the 26th. We see how the board votes on both of these items. Then that vote by the full board goes as a recommendation to the SLA. The SLA will then, I guess, rule on those. And I can't speak to their process or how long that will take, whatever. Angel, maybe you have more clarity than me. Go
You
ahead.
got it. You got all of it. Just to the app, the courtesy continues to be extended for an opportunity to testify or comment on any application until the board has voted. So if the applicant or any member of the community wants to add, any additional comments, bring any additional comments or recommendations to the board's attention, you will have that opportunity at the beginning of the full board during the public session, which is the very first part of the meeting. During the meeting, everyone is given an opportunity to register to testify, given a few moments to speak, and you can certainly raise any issues. You can certainly comment during that period. And that's before the board, will be voting on the item.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, thank you for being here. And again, thank you for everybody who participated in this. I appreciate everybody's input and everybody's patience. Thank you again. So with that, we'll move to item 2 on our agenda. Okay, this one will be quick. Harlem's Own Wine and Liquor, new application for a full liquor license for a restaurant at 314 East 106th Street. The application has been withdrawn. So do I have a motion to deny?
Motion to deny.
Okay, motion denied by Judith. Do I have a second? Jessica? you have one?
Second. Oh, Jessica, go ahead.
Thanks, Angela. I'll second Judith's motion to deny.
Seconded by Jessica. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Dan Brija,
Deny.
Carlos Diaz,
Deny.
Angela Donadell,
Deny.
Judith Ferraro,
Deny.
Jessica Morris,
Deny.
Miguel Pava, Shavatia Robinson Teague,
Denied.
and Jordan Wright.
Deny.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will move to item 3. Meet Commodore LLC doing business as Crispy Bird, new application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 170 East 118th Street on 3rd Avenue. I believe the applicant is here, so the floor is yours. Just tell us a little bit about your plans for this business and any other additional information you would like the committee to share with the committee, so to help us review this application.
Yeah. They don't have a
I know, but
certificate of occupancy.
Judith, let them go first, and then we will
Okay.
comment on that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Okay, yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I have applied for this before. Construction problems have pushed me so far back that I have to reapply.
Okay, and you're the
Basically,
owner?
I am a partner,
Okay, can you just state your name for the record?
Joel Reese.
Okay, so you applied, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have an unmute capability. My name's Robert Callahan. I'm the representative with Joel on this. I can explain everything to you.
Okay, yeah, the floor is yours, please.
Sorry, Joel. Didn't mean to cut you off. All right, so this is a restaurant wine application for Meet Commodore LLC, doing business as Crispy Bird. We're located at 170 East 18th Street between 3rd and Lexington Avenues in a premise formerly occupied by Bistro 118, who also had a restaurant wine license. We did come before your committee on February 3rd, 1921 with this same application, and we were approved by the committee. We never filed with the SLA because of numerous Department of Buildings holdups. So we kind of ran out of time, so we're refiling it. So we'll be doing the same thing as was presented before. We're a small, full-service chicken restaurant with 3 tables and 11 seats. Our hours will be 11 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. We'll provide light background music to the customers, and we'll agree to all the previous stipulations that we signed on the stipulation sheet the last time. We've submitted a stipulation sheet with the exact same stipulations on them.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, thank you so much. With that being said, I know that Judith, you had comments, so the floor is yours, and then I'll see if anybody else has any comments on this.
I was concerned about the certificate of occupancy.
Okay, can you elaborate? They don't have one. You said you're concerned.
Robert?
Yes.
Judith, are you there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't you hear me?
You said you have.
They don't have a certificate of, anyway, that's what it states on the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah, we are being held up by that's what we're being held up by. It's a building that predates the CFO, so I forget the exact wording of the thing that we're trying to get, but we're jumping through numerous obstacles to get to that.
But the SLA allows us not to submit that until the first renewal. So we now have a 2-year window to get that all straightened out. But basically, we're trying to fix the C of O right now.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have any other questions, comments, concerns? Do I have anybody from the public who would like to comment? Judith, I know you're always looking, so before I take a motion, is there anything else that, oh, okay, in the meantime, Jessica, your hand's up, so the floor is yours.
Sorry, just a kind of clarification. So this is a business that had previously been operational that did not serve alcohol?
No.
Or wine or cider?
No.
Right, bistro.
No. We're a new business. Bistro was the business that occupied the space before us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a new business. We applied last year. We came in front of this committee and we were approved, but because of the problems with the buildings department, we weren't able to submit the application to the SLA. The SLA has changed their rules now and is now allowing us to file without the C of O. They're giving us a period to get it. So we're back in front of you applying again.
Okay, Judith?
Yeah, on your 30-day notice, it says it's a new application and a temporary retail permit. And what is that actually? I mean, is it selling liquor or what? I mean,
Yeah,
temporary
the SLA allows certain businesses while the application is at the SLA to get a temporary permit to allow the service of the wine and beer while the license is being reviewed.
Judith, that I believe has been, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that has become more common practice
Yeah.
because of the pandemic and the backlog with SLA, because
Right, they changed their policies.
yeah, because if new applicants were waiting, it could take 8 months to a year, I don't know, maybe longer. So I know that's totally fine. Do I have any other questions, comments?
Okay.
Okay.
I was just curious, that's all.
No, I appreciate it. Okay, with that being said, do I have a motion?
Have a motion to approve?
Okay, motion to approve by Carlos. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Judith. Seconded by Judith. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Sorry, I was on mute.
No, it's okay.
Rihana,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donzel,
Yes,
Judith Ferraro,
Yes,
Jessica Morris,
Okay, yes.
Miguel Pava, Shavancia Robinson Teague,
Yes.
and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, thank you to the applicant. Good luck. We wish you the best of luck. All right, take care. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joel.
Good night. Number 4, okay, is 116 Hospitality Corp. It's a new application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 332 East 116th Street on First Avenue. Judith, I will entertain all your comments after the applicant goes.
okay.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? And if they are, just introduce yourselves, tell us about your plans for this business, and just share any additional information you'd like the committee to review when it comes time to vote on your application.
Hi, good evening. My name is Matthew Furman, and I'm the owner of 116 Hospitality Corp, doing business as the Terrace. I want to open up the spot on 116th. I always liked that bar when it was called Lion. I've been there a few times. And I want to turn into a same thing, pretty much a cocktail bar, light music, some food, just to be able to bring the community together. And because I really like East Harlem, so I figured I'd take that spot.
Okay.
Can I be heard? I'm the attorney. It's not clear to me on my computer whether you can hear me or not.
Yeah, we hear you. You're
Okay.
recognized. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. I represented the previous licensee, Lion, and the landlord was actually a principal of Lion, but we did not actually acquire the previous licensee. So this is a new application.
Right.
It's going to be a quiet, upscale bar and lounge, cocktail lounge, and as far as I know, there were no complaints about the operation as run by the previous licensee, and we expect to operate a quiet bar and lounge here also.
Okay, thank you for that. Judith, I might steal your question. I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, because we went.
So I'm gonna say on behalf of me and Judith, I believe, Lion, I recall at one point, this is going back, so there haven't, as far as I know, there weren't issues after this, but I did notice you had checked the garden, and I believe that would be a backyard space, and there were some issues in the past at that location with the outdoor space. Now, the issue was addressed, I believe, and everything was okay, so I don't think the committee would be opposed to that being an outdoor space, especially in light of the type of establishment you're presenting that will be occupying there. What I would ask is, while we have traditionally asked for 25 signatures from residents, and we have temporarily waived that for the time being because of the pandemic, I would ask, is it possible, because it's a backyard space and outdoors, that you would be able to obtain signatures from the residents of the property you're in, and any like immediately adjacent properties that would be facing out onto that backyard space, just saying that they are actually, in fact, okay with that space being used as part of the restaurant?
Yeah, absolutely. I could do that tomorrow. I only got signatures from the tenants in the building. There's only 3 apartments in there, and they all said yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow I could go to the other ones and get signatures from the building next door, the building next to me, the building behind me, and any windows that I can see from the backyard. I'll go over there and I'll get signatures. I'll knock on the doors, and I could do that tomorrow.
Well, that's greatly appreciated, and I don't want to put you under that kind of time constraint. So while I really appreciate you saying tomorrow, when it comes time to take the motion, we will definitely give you more time than tomorrow. I don't want to put you under that kind of time.
Oh, no, it's okay. I live nearby and I really.
Okay.
don't have a
Yeah,
problem.
no, I know, but you never know if someone's at home or whatever. So
Yeah, I
I want to
know.
make it a little bit easier for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
that is
for that.
greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Do I have any, Judith, I know I stole one of your
You
questions.
stole my, yeah, because
Marlene?
they had
ahead.
apartment buildings behind it that we were concerned about. Yeah.
Yeah, Marlene?
Yes, so just to speak to Matthew, he did supply the signatures, but you all have relaxed that and haven't re-implemented it. So I told him that you all waived that requirement. So that's why he didn't submit it prior to this meeting.
Okay, yeah, no, and that's totally understood.
Mhm.
And I think the lion issue that I'm referencing, Marlene, was before you were even here. So this is
Yeah.
just this is just one of those like extenuating circumstances because there's been history at that location, but I totally understand why you told him to waive that. But in light of this location and due to Mr. Furman's willingness, I appreciate that. So I think those signatures would just be good for everybody to have. I think you know, it would just make it a better process in this case. But thank you.
Yeah, no,
Marlene.
I just didn't want you all to think that he wasn't compliant to get petitions because he was supposed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's greatly appreciated.
Mhm.
Thank you.
If I could raise one other issue, please.
Yep, go ahead.
I just saw that we submitted the stipulation today.
Yes.
And we did that kind of hurriedly because I hadn't realized that this needed to be submitted before the meeting. And one issue, there's an issue on it that I have not spoken to Matthew Furman about, which is security. I believe as we submitted it, it said that we would have security checking people coming in. That may require a security guard, which may be quite uneconomical for a cocktail lounge this small. And I would like to speak to Matthew and perhaps resubmit this, clarifying whether or not we're going to have actually hire an employee who might have to be a security guard to check people coming in, as opposed to leaving the responsibility to the manager and the bartender.
Yeah, I could talk about that. I filled out that application, the stipulation sheet myself, and I was just thinking about it. You know, I feel like it's a new business. I don't know what's gonna happen when I open. You know, I know that I have a lot of support in the community, so I feel like sometimes I might have security, I might not. I don't know how that works. Like if I put that I'm gonna have security, I'm supposed to have them all the time, but I just wanted to put that there just in case I need them, because I don't know how it works. I don't know if I put that I'm not gonna have security and then I hire security and I never said that I was gonna hire them. You know, I just wanted to just put that there just in case I saw the need to hire security. I don't think I'm gonna have the need to hire security because I'm even thinking about like locking the door, and there's gonna be like a little button that you press and it lights up inside. That means that somebody's at the door, so we can control the flow of people coming in. We check their, and just to make it kind of exclusive and nice, it's small. So I'm like, I might not need security, but let me just fill this in just in case I do, I could hire them, you know, but I don't really see the need for it, but I want to be safe.
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody's safe. I know that this place is serving hard liquor. I know that I want to stay open, you know, past midnight. So I just felt like it would be the best thing to do just in case I ever need to hire security.
Matthew, I think it works the other way. I think as we submitted the stipulation, it says we are going to hire security. And my advice would be, it'd certainly be better for you not to make a commitment to hire security, but then hire a security guard if and when you need one.
Oh, okay, I got
I
that.
got it.
I have a suggestion that I think could work.
Wait.
Well, okay, Judith, if, I mean, is what you're saying, okay, go ahead.
I'm looking at the stipulation, and it just says about the security, just for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, even for those days, it would be the same issue.
Okay, so I can make it real simple. You can add a line there, or even you could just say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as seen fit by the owner, meaning then it's up to your discretion.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
So we could, when we, and this will be up to the committee, but when we vote, we could say that it'll be conditional, and you could resubmit the stipulation then within a certain time frame, and you can update it to say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as seen fit by the owner, meaning then it's up to your purview. So if somebody walks by and they see security on a Friday, they don't go, oh, you didn't say you need security, but then if you don't have security, it's at your discretion, which I think then kind of gives you the leeway to operate your business as you see fit, because I'm familiar with the location. I don't personally see the need for security, but I'm not going to speak to your establishment. You would know that better than me. But I believe my suggestion kind of alleviates that issue of forcing you to really commit fully one way or another without truly knowing how your business is gonna, what your business's needs are gonna be.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That would be fine, thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much.
Okay, so when we get to the voting portion, that will be addressed, okay? So I just wanted to alleviate that concern. With that said, Angela, I see your hand up.
Yes, because in the conversation, he drew something up that made me take pause. He said putting a buzzer on the door. So how many avenues of egress is in that place if you put a buzzer on the door? Because if something happened, can people on the inside just pull it and get out?
Yeah. It's gonna be open from one side. I haven't done it yet, but it was just an idea. But there's another exit on the side where you could open that door and come out through the building entrance. The building has two doors, my door and then the building entrance. So they could always go out through the other door. And then if they need to go out through my door, the one that we open on the inside is going to be open. It's just the outside that you just can't get in. And it was just an idea. Like I just threw that out there. So I don't even know if I'm going to do it, but it seems like a good idea. There's this cocktail bar that does that, and I really like that. So I was thinking about doing the same.
It was just a question. It sounds like it could be a fire hazard. But
Yeah.
if there's another avenue of egress, then that's not as bad.
Yeah, and like you said, you said it would still open for people going
On
out.
the inside, yeah.
So it would just be locked for people coming in, which I mean, which could still be an issue in case of an emergency if somebody had to come in quickly. But if there is a second entrance that wouldn't be locked, then I guess that would be fine. So I saw hands, but now I don't, and now I see. Okay, Jessica, go ahead. The floor is yours.
I just want to, there's a period of consultation where you're going to have to figure out your operations. And I think Angela's point with egress and safety, those are all things to really, consult with professionals on. And I think the idea of atmosphere that you want to create is one thing. And then the kind of the requirements for people being able to come and go to make sure that emergency access and egress can be maintained for any sort of safety, whether it's fire safety or other types of safety concerns. Those are things, definitely consult with your professional and make sure that your idea matches with kind of regulations so that we can all, especially with the garden in the back and having, a need for egress compliance.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. The only problem that I see with that, well, you guys brought up a good point with the fire hazard stuff, but I also see, like, I'm thinking, let's say there's 10 people, 8 people trying to get in, they're going to be on the sidewalk. Like, if I see that as a problem, then I would just take it off. It was just an idea. So I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if I can, because my door is glass. So that'll be kind of weird because it locks on the bottom with a key only. So if I can't do it, I won't. But it was just an idea.
Thank you. Okay, with that being said, do I have any questions? If not, then I will entertain a motion. And whoever,
Okay, I approve.
well, okay, Judith, but it's their conditions. Do you want me to state them and you can kind of adopt them into your motion, or do you recall and you just want to state them yourself?
Okay, what are the conditions?
Okay, so there are two conditions. One is that they will have the signatures submitted
Oh,
from
yeah,
all their building include and any other apartments that windows face out onto the backyard. And then
Right.
the second condition is that they will submit a revised stipulation form where it says security
Right.
personnel Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That would be amended to say security personnel Friday, Saturday to Sunday at the owner's discretion or as the owner sees fit.
Right.
And then in terms of a time frame for them to have both of those, I think that since the applicant said, get them by tomorrow, I don't want to put them under that. I was thinking by Monday, because the stipulation would take literally a minute to update, and then that would give the signatures ample time as well, if you're okay with that, Monday.
Yeah.
Judith, are you okay with that as well?
I approve it with those conditions, absolutely.
All right, so then there's a motion by Judith with the conditions stated, as I stated, and then those would have to be met by this Monday. So to the
Monday is the
applicant,
11th.
is Monday the 11th? Let me just make sure. Monday
I
is
think
the
so.
Monday, April 11th. So yeah, so just by Monday, let's just say close of business, 5 p.m., have the revised stipulation form emailed to Marlene, and as well as all the signatures. I know that you already have the ones from the building, so just in addition to those, the other ones as well. Angela, I see your hand up.
Yes, I'm seconding
Okay.
Judith's motion.
Okay, so motion made by Judith, seconded by Angela. I see the, well, okay, we'll take the vote and then Marlene, if you don't mind calling the roll.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I noticed that when Alan filled out my application, he's saying that I'm opening at 5 p.m. But I was also wondering if I could open earlier as well.
What time would you, so what time would you like to open?
I don't know, maybe like 3, just in case, and maybe on the weekends a little earlier, just in case. I just want to see if like there's business during the day, and if not, I'll open later. But I just want to have that option open because I know if I put 5 p.m., I have to open at 5 p.m.
I don't see there, I mean, again, I'm familiar with where you're located. I don't think there's any schools right nearby there or anything of that nature. So, I mean, I'll throw a suggestion out there, Judith, anybody else from the committee, you would have to add this then, I guess, I don't know how this would work to the motion. Judith or the committee, how does everybody feel?
Yeah, to the questionnaire where he says 5 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
daily, including Sunday, and the stipulation.
Can we say 2 o'clock? Would that work?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest at 2 o'clock, 7 days a week. Does that work?
I'm also thinking like, let's say somebody wants to do like use my space. We have some food catered and they want to start at noon, that I just thought about that now. So I don't know if that would work, but I feel like that'll help me out.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I would be willing to say noon is okay, 7 days a week, but then I guess the counter to that might be, does it need to be 4 a.m. 7 days a week?
Right.
Yeah. I want to try the 4 a.m. just to see how it goes. I might not close at 4 a.m. I just don't want to limit myself, like if I need to be open till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I'd rather have it all the way.
At 4 a.m.
Right, but then doesn't it have to be changed if he wants to use his establishment for catering or something like that?
Well, let's not say like catering won't be me doing it, but like let's say somebody wants to use
Like
my
a
space
private
early.
party. Yeah.
Yeah, like they like 15 people want to use my space at 12, because it's bright and it's early and they want to use the garden, like for a little quiet birthday event or something like that.
Would you say 2 to 2 or 2 to 3?
Well, now it seems like we're changing a few things, so.
Well, the only thing that I feel like
Changing the hours.
Yeah, the only thing that I feel like is last minute right now, and I apologize for it. I feel like 12 to 4 a.m. just to have that open. I don't want to limit myself, because if somebody wants to use my space early, I'm able to do that, and I can still continue with the 4 a.m. business that I was planning to.
Judith, would you be willing to withdraw your motion and we can remake
Yes,
it? and we
yeah,
can
I
have it-
was just gonna say that. I was just
Okay.
gonna say that.
So you'll
yeah.
withdraw your motion.
I'm
Okay.
withdrawing my motion, right?
All right, now to the question of 12, from noon to 4 a.m., 7 days a week. Do I have any input from the committee before I now entertain a motion again? Okay, I don't, well, I see a hand. Jessica?
Sorry, I'm just slow on the raising of hands. So opening up to be more permissive to account for potentials and unknowns and with regard to a business plan, is there a sort of less wide open way of allowing for the applicant to test how they want to do business in the first, couple of months or years of operation?
So not really. I mean, typically, no. I know that recently we had an applicant that was near Taino Towers, I believe, and we approved we compromised with them they wanted a full liquor license, and we had them do a wine, beer, and cider license on like a 6-month probationary period because people weren't thrilled with that location. I mean, if we have them write it on their stipulation, the SLA usually acknowledges it. So we could, I guess, in theory, have them included on the stipulation that we would accept the hours of noon to 4 a.m. and pending that there are not an excessive number of 311s or whatever in 6 months, then it could be adopted, fully. But if there is an excessive number of complaints due to the hours or whatever, that then they would have to come back before the committee, say 6 months. I mean, I don't know if that would address your concern.
Would that, are you talking about noon or 4 a.m.?
Well, I'm just talking about the hours in general now. If it's from noon to 4 a.m. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that we have to do that. I was just answering the question to say, is there a way that we could do that? I mean, typically though, we just usually approve hours as the applicant, as agreed on between the applicant and the committee. And that is why, so ultimately, we can approve what we see fit. So the applicant can request noon to 4 a.m. We do not have to approve noon to 4 a.m. So usually we come to a compromise if we don't agree with the initial proposal. That's why the initial proposal has now changed. So the proposal now is noon to 4 a.m., 7 days a week. So my initial thing is to ask, does anybody in the committee have an actual problem with that change? And if they do, would there be that person then have a counter in terms of hours or whatever, or maybe my suggestion, but I think my suggestion just makes things a little bit more complicated. I would like to try to approve something now that could work for everybody. And then we would ideally see them in 2 years for a renewal. Judith?
They are they now want to open at 2 or 12?
So they went open at 12 and Lion, as I believe the attorney said, had it till 4 a.m. It is of my opinion,
Okay,
that opening, this is just my opinion. Opening at 12 to me doesn't really make this any different. If it was 4 a.m. is the more of usually the concern, but it's been there, so I don't see the problem. So yeah, that's just my take. So I'm gonna open it up to
one thing to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one thing to add. If they're gonna open at 12, I guess that's fine. I have no problem with that. But it's the 4 a.m. which I have a problem with, because can we put a kind of stipulation in, because using the backyard where there's buildings, because we inspected that once, can we put a time on that? I mean, I would rather not want to use the backyard till 4 a.m.
I think we're already limited on the backyard.
Yeah, isn't it already on the
I think it's
stipulation?
11, I think it's 11 p.m.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I put 11 p.m. because I feel like 11 p.m. is a good time.
Yeah, you can't.
Well, no, the 11 PM is what is required by the.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah,
put that, yeah.
Yeah, so you would have to stop, as per our rules, stop serving liquor outside by 10 PM. And then, and everybody would have to be,
Right.
like,
Empty by 11.
yeah, out of there by 11, and then what
100%.
inside can go till 4. So Judith, that's already, I believe, on the stipulation. It's been
Okay.
addressed. Okay, so Judith, you made the original motion.
Right.
So if you would like to make it again with the new hours,
Right.
do you want me to just restate everything, and does that make it easier for you?
Yeah, so the new hours will be 12 to 4 and with the backyard being no serving liquor after 10 and at 11 to close that backyard. And then the security, I guess, what did you say, that it would be at will or whatever?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it would be as the owner sees fit.
Yeah, like at will, right.
Right,
Yeah,
at will.
so,
Yeah, I couldn't hear
okay.
you. And then the
Yeah.
other one was the signatures.
The
face.
signatures,
Okay,
right. right.
okay, so then we would need all that corrected documentation. So anywhere where your
Right.
hours are listed on the questionnaire, the stipulation, that would need to be updated
Right.
to say noon to 4 AM,
Right.
7 days a week. We need the signatures and we need the updated stipulation as well to also say Friday, Saturday, Sunday, security at will or as the owner sees
Right.
fit. And everything
Right.
would need to be submitted by Monday, this Monday, April 11th by 5 PM, email to Marlene, and that would satisfy the condition, okay? So that's the motion on the floor.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Right.
I'll second that, Carlos.
Okay, seconded by Carlos. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Madame Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donado,
Yes.
Judith
Yes.
Ferraro. Thank you. Judith Ferraro,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava.
Yes.
Thank you. Shavassia Robinson Teeth
Yep.
and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you and good luck. And yeah, just have everything in by Monday by
Thank
closing.
you.
Will
Right.
do. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, with that being said, we'll move to item number 5. All right, so it's Terenga LLC doing business as Terenga, renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 1280 Fifth Avenue on 109th Street. This is a renewal. I don't believe there were any 311s. I believe all the documents were submitted. Is anyone here? They're not required to be, but okay, I see a hand up in the attendees. Whoever that I'm trying to see who it is. You're recognized.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. I'm one of the partners.
Okay, I mean, since you're here, we appreciate your attendance. You're welcome to share anything about your business, anything you'd want to share in addition to the board, any challenges that you've run into, whatever, we could try to connect you to other committees, but the floor is yours if there's anything you'd like to say.
You know, I think it's been pretty straightforward, and I appreciate the time to speak. We applied. It took us about a year to get our license, and we got it during the heart of COVID. So we really haven't had a chance to benefit from it yet, but looking forward to doing so in the future.
Okay, well, thank you, and
Well,
okay, Judith, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a renewal. And
Judith.
This is the African Museum. What?
Okay, Judith, your reception is coming in spotty, I believe. You want to try restating your question? Okay, I think
This is the African Museum,
yes, this is located in, yes.
110th and 5th.
Well, I believe 109th and 5th.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So this is a renewal anyway, yeah.
yeah.
You hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions?
No, that's about it. Taking a, yeah.
Okay,
No.
I want to try to move this along because this is a very long
Yeah,
meeting.
I
So
know.
with that being said, it's a renewal. Do I have a
Motion to
motion to
renew.
approve? Okay, motion to approve by Carlos. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second, was that Jordan or Miguel?
go, go.
Miguel. Okay, thank you, Miguel. Seconded by Miguel. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll?
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato,
Yes,
Judith Ferraro,
Yes,
Jessica Morris. Thank you, Judith.
Yep,
Jessica Morris.
yep,
Thank you. Miguel Pava.
Yes.
Thanks. Shavasia Robinson Teague. Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Angela, I see your hand up now. I didn't see it before.
I know you didn't. Listen, for the sake of time, is it possible that we bundle the next four? I think it is. They're all renewals, unless there's a problem.
I don't, Marlene, do all four of the following have all their documents? I just can't remember off the
Nope.
top. Marlene
Nope.
nodded yes. So Judith, what are they missing, Judith?
La Guadalupe, you said, they don't have all their documents.
Right. They're missing everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're
so
missing
then what,
everything.
all right, so you know what we'll do? We will bundle 5, 6, and 7, if everyone's okay with that, and then we can vote on 8 separately.
You moved 6 and 7. You guys just did 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just.
It's fine. It's late. It's late.
I appreciate Angela's recommendation. So with that being said, do I have a motion? I'll just read them for the record. So number 6 is Ricardo LLC doing business as Ricardo Steakhouse, renewal application for a full liquor license at 2145 Second Avenue. And then Marlene, if you don't mind going to number 7, I could just read that one into the record. So number 7 is Las Delicias Mexicanas Corp. Renewal application for a full liquor license for a restaurant located at 2109 Third Avenue. Do I have a motion to approve items 6 and 7, both renewals, no 311s, and they have all their documents? Angela?
I motion to approve items 6 and 7. They have all their documents and no motions on the SLA.
Thank you. Jessica?
And I second it. I second it. Oh.
Jessica's
Judith
hand-
seconds, Judith seconds.
Okay, thank you. All right, motion by Angela, seconded by Judith. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato,
Yes,
Judith Ferraro. Jessica.
Yes,
Thank you, Judith. Jessica Morris,
Yes,
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, and we will go to item 8, which is
La
La
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe Restaurant Corp. Renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 179 East 115th Street. Okay, I see a hand up in the attendees.
There's no document.
Well, I know, but I see a hand up in the attendees, so let me
Oh,
just see who wants to speak.
It's
Uh,
Ricardo Steakhouse, which you all just voted on, but they let them speak.
I mean, you know what, let's take the vote then. If they're not on that, we'll just vote on this and then we'll recognize them.
Mhm.
So do I have a motion to deny item 8?
Motion
don't have
to
any-
deny.
Motion denied by Carlos, seconded by
second,
Angela. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Adem Briha,
Deny.
Carlos Diaz,
Deny.
Angela Donato,
deny,
Judith Ferraro,
Deny.
Jessica Morris,
yes to deny.
Miguel Pava,
Deny.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Deny.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mateus, I hope I said that right. I'm sorry we skipped you. I mean, you're already approved, but you're recognized if you'd like to say something.
Oh, just thank you. Just wanted to confirm if we were part of the first group, but I guess we were, and just want to thank you guys for the support.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, you were approved, so you are good to go. Have a great night.
Likewise. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, so we are now in the street activity permit portion of our meeting. So we're on item 9, Afro Bambay street event, August 13th, 2022, East 120th between Lexington and 3rd Avenue. It is going to be from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. It is a full street closure. I believe the applicant is here. Debbie, I think you're here for this. Am I wrong?
Debbie's here.
Okay, so Debbie, the floor is yours. If you want to just like briefly say hi to everybody. I know you were former vice chair and a longtime member, and then just tell us a little bit about your event.
Debbie, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. Debbie, you called in and I see that you're now on video. You can unmute yourself. You're unmuted on this end.
Okay, while we're waiting on that, Marlene, it's like my mind's a little, this applicant submitted everything? I remember.
She's good to go,
She's
yes.
good. Okay, so she's here. There seem to be technical difficulties. I don't want to drag this out. So with that being said, do I have any questions? Judith, your hand's up?
No, I know this event and it's right on the same block as the art park. That's why probably Debbie is involved in it, and they've had it before, and it's a nice event. So that's all I have to say. So if
I make a motion to approve. If Debbie comes on a little later on, she can speak on her behalf.
yeah,
He's unmuted.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, we hear you.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I've been having so many computer issues tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to present.
I spoke to you.
Sorry?
I said, Debbie, I spoke to you. I know the event is right by the art park, and you've had it before.
Yes, yes. And this event is, I just have to give you some background because this event has its roots in the Fiesta de Loíza, which was something that has occurred in Eastern for the past 50 years. And then they kind of collapsed it, and we worked to keep it going forward. So this event is absolutely something that we try to promote the concept of Afro diaspora in East Harlem. And last year, with all the issues with COVID, I have to apologize because I remember Judith passed by and she was concerned about the closing off of the street, and it was just such a weird time. But the event was actually quite lovely, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you, Debbie, and we appreciate your patience on this long meeting. With that being said, Judith, no, I'm sorry, Carlos, I believe you were making.
I made the motion
to approve.
Yes.
Jessica, I saw your hand up, so.
Yep, that's a second.
Okay, so seconded by Jessica. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Sorry, I muted myself. Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Judith Ferraro,
Yes,
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavastia Robinson T, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
The motion carries.
okay.
All right. Thank you, Debbie. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And please pass by Art Park, which is located on 120th Street between Lexington and 3rd. We're just trying to activate the space so that it becomes a green cultural space that is a hidden gem in East Harlem.
Thank you.
Chair,
We
can I
definitely.
say
will.
something to
Yeah,
Debbie?
yeah. Go ahead, Judith.
Debbie?
Yes.
Hi, the only reason I was concerned about blocking it off, remember it was the sidewalk and there were people that couldn't get through that had wheelchairs or something. I don't mind having the street blocked off. It's just the sidewalk so that people can get through.
Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate that statement. It was just, we were so caught up in the COVID madness at that time that we were just trying to have everyone go to the Lexington Avenue. You know, and you know, there's lessons learned, and we still have to keep moving forward and continue to celebrate the culture of the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Good
Okay,
night.
Deb.
Thanks again. All right, with that being said, we will move to item 10. Okay, so this is the 116th Street Festival, June 10th, 2022, from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's 3rd Avenue between East 106th and East 122nd Street. That's location 1. Location 2 is East 116th between Lexington and 2nd Avenue. It's a full street closure. Is the applicant here?
I don't see David Acosta or his partner. And they weren't amongst the group of people that I called earlier.
Okay.
His phone number is still on the line though, so let's see. Phone number ending in 324. You can unmute yourself by pressing *6 on your phone.
Okay. Is the carnival?
David Walker, are you here on behalf of an applicant?
I'm here for Skyscraper
Got it. Okay.
and Richard.
All right, so let's just.
I don't see them, Madam. Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
They have everything, right? And I mean, I'm going to the air table. They've done this many times.
Yes.
It's a long.
Yeah.
It's the day prior to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. They've always hosted it in
Yeah.
East Harlem.
That's what I thought. So then I don't think their presence is required. With that being said, then I'll entertain.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve by Carlos.
I'll
Do I have a
second the motion.
Seconded by Angela. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Madam Brija,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato,
Yes.
Judith Ferraro,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
I'm gonna abstain.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, all right. And with that said, we will move to item number 11. Okay, so Carnival del Barrio, Single Block Festival, August 6th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Location East 116th between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. Full street closure. Is the applicant here, Mr. Gonzalez, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Gonzalez, you can unmute yourself. You have the ability to unmute yourself on your end.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your festival. Thank you for being.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Hector Gonzalez. I'm new to the board, although that I'm not new to the Carnaval del Barrio. Carnaval del Barrio is an event that it was held for the past 25 years under Edwin Marcial, now deceased. I was the stage manager and also the entertainment director. When I walked around El Carnaval del Barrio, everyone at the area, the community wants to bring it back because although I applied just for one day, it used to be 3 days before, I wanted to first have it to see the feeling the people get back after 2 years of the passing of Edwin. And we wanted also to bring the recognition of Edwin achievement in the barrio, because he was also a board member, I believe. And this is the reason why I applied. I created a committee of members of El Barrio, and they want me to continue Edwin's steps. And this is the reason why I made the application. I want to celebrate the heritage and culture that it was celebrated for the past 25 years under his guidance.
Thank you. That was greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'm familiar with Edwin. He was a great man. Thank you for that. Jessica?
I just want to say thank you, Hector, for bringing this and committing to carrying on a legacy. Edwin was the very first community board member whom I had the pleasure of speaking with, introducing myself to, and hearing a little bit about them a number of years ago. So it's great to hear that there's a venue, an appropriate venue to begin to recognize some of the joys that Edwin brought to the community. So please, if you have an email or anything like that, you can put in the chat. Happy to connect and help support your effort to make this a successful point in August to reconvene, whether it's one day, which you're applying for now, or gets back to a more robust celebration in years to come.
Yes, thank you so much. I will send it to the community board 11. I believe that they have my email address.
The email address is right on the application.
Yes.
Chair, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Hector. And with that being said, then I will entertain. Carlos made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'd like to second, Jessica.
Okay, seconded by Jessica. Jessica finally got a second in.
If
Somebody.
you want to make the motion, I'll yield to you, Jessica.
No, Carlos, all you. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right, so motion by Carlos, seconded by Jessica. Marlene, if you don't mind calling the roll.
Adem Bruja,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato. Judith.
Yes.
Thank you, Angela. Judith Ferraro,
Thing.
Yes.
I hate this laptop. It
Jessica
just keeps
Morris.
putting these little screens out that doesn't let me
Angela, mute yourself, please. I'm
Yes.
in the middle of polling roll.
Yes.
Thank you. Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson T, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the approval.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Good luck. We wish you the best.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. With that, we'll move to number 12. Okay, 2022 Harlem Skyscraper Cycling Classic Single Block Festival, June 9th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Location, Mount Morris Park West between West 122nd Street and West 123rd Street. It's a sidewalk and street closure. Applicant's Richard Cox. I believe he is on. Mr. Cox, if it is you in fact.
Adem, point of information, you said June 9th. It says June 19th.
Oh, June 19th then. Thank you, Angela, for catching that. Been a long night, but yeah, thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
June 19th for the record. And the applicant, the floor is yours if you'd like to.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you for being so patient with us tonight.
Well, as we always say, the great work always takes time.
Yep.
So, hey, how's everybody? So, hi, Judith. This is our 50th year. 50th year. We are the second longest running cycling event in America. And so we're happy that the East Harlem community has stood by us for 50 years, and we're looking for another 50 years long after, when cycling is becoming more and more of a recreational, more of a educational sport. So thank you everybody for that. I just want to make sure that the permit is fully reflective of the areas we're closing down. Every time we see the permit, it looks like something's missing, but we did speak with NYPD. We've been in communications with them. There's one small area that I want to make sure reflected properly on the permit. is the area along Fifth Avenue between 119th and 120th. Every year that area is shut down anyway, because it's adjacent to the Bethel Gospel Assembly and the housing, the apartment buildings that are there as well. They close it down anyway, because that's where the flow of traffic has to be stopped. We just want to make sure that area is also covered on the permit, because that's where we do a lot of our community work. We do little clinics to educate the community about cycling, do little safety classes. We do a impromptu bicycle fix it up, we'll teach people how to fix their cycles. So we just want to make sure that small area is also reflective, along with the complete loop around Marcus Garvey Park.
Would it be helpful to you, because you're an institution here and I understood everything you said, if we just, when we make the motion, we can include, just to make it extra certain, we can include that area that you highlighted in the language of the motion? Would that be?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so if you don't mind, can you just state the area again, exactly, so whoever makes the motion can ideally say that?
In addition to the location stated on permit, we would like to include the area along Fifth Avenue between 119th Street and 120th Street.
Okay.
Part of this. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we would like the area between 119th and 120th Street also to be included on this permit.
Okay, perfect. Before I entertain a motion, is there any other questions, comments, concerns?
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, do I have a motion?
I motion.
Okay, and can you add that language that we are
Yes, I
approving?
motion to approve this application, including between Fifth Avenue between 120th and 119th Street.
Okay, perfect. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carlos. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll?
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato,
Yes.
Judith Fabaro,
Yep.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Cox.
Ri-
Best of luck.
Richard,
Yes, Judith.
yeah, this is on the Father's Day thing, right?
Yes, it's on Father's Day, also now known because of June 19th, it's called Juneteenth. So it's on Father's Day and a federal holiday. This is the second time in its history it's actually happened on that day.
Yes, thanks, Richard.
Well, we wish you 50 more years of success, okay? And
Thank you.
so
Really
much.
appreciate everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks.
Thank
And
again.
then who seconded this? Was it Jessica or Carlos?
Carlos.
Thank
Judith
you.
and Carlos, yep.
All right.
Okay, we're
I
gonna go
might
to
have to,
13.
I
Okay,
might
so
have to, I
Judith,
might have to step away for a minute.
go ahead. I'm trying to move this as fast as I can now.
Yeah,
13,
okay.
100th Street Community Festival, Single Block Festival, May 28th, 2022, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. East 100th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue. Full street closure. I believe the applicant, Mr. Guzman, is on, so the floor is yours. Marlene, I think he asked if you could unmute him. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. He's unmuted.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Marlene. Yes,
Sure, you're welcome.
I couldn't see that start 6. Yes, good evening, members of the board. We're applying, we're sponsoring the Open Restaurant Initiative on 100th Street. That's the reason of this petition. We submitted an application with DOT for 100th Street because that's not an approved yet, an approved site, as it is 101st Street. And our idea, the application has not been considered or responded. But in the meantime, we wanted to see if we could obtain a SAPO permit, which has been also submitted and is on consideration, and your approval your favorable consideration to have 100th Street considered too. What happened is that last year when we did 101st Street only, merchants on 100th Street were not too happy with the outcome. There was not too much foot traffic on that quarter. So we all agreed to conduct alternating open streets, one time in 100th Street, one time in 101st Street, so everybody would be happy. That's the idea. At this moment, this petition is for May 28th, and I'm not sure if I have to come back later with the DOT approval to do a longer term. I'm not too sure how this works. This is the first time I do it myself. Normally, Carrie does that for me. And so I leave it up to you guys. Any questions you want to ask, I'm here to respond.
Thank you. In terms of the, so what we would approve tonight, as far as this committee is concerned, would be May 28th as presented to us. If you then decide that this is going to happen more often, you'd be welcome back and we could revisit that. But with that being said, Jessica, floor is yours.
Thank you, Adam. Pablo, just to clarify, I worked closely with Carrie and stewarding the open street on East 101st. And so just to clarify, you're saying that you have applied for an open street along East 100th Street as well, but waiting, that approval is pending. And so while that approval is pending, you're looking to definitely lock in a celebration and a single block, full block closure on the 28th. Is that correct? And then I have a follow-up question.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Follow-up question is what was the proposed frequency for the open street application in that same location?
For the open street, it's a range. It's just a time range. We started on May 28th and end up, I think it's by the end of August. I don't have the actual date on my hand, but it was a time range. And the idea was to us decide when to do it. We will be alternating weekends. It is normally on the weekend. And the idea is do one time 101st, one time 100th Street, if it's approved.
I see. I like the idea of starting as a backup plan with a SAPO full street closure. And just a question, there had been a point where any SAPO permits that had not existed previously were somehow not going to happen in the future. Did that whole grandfathering in of old street closures, has that stopped? Are we now at a point where we can approve new block street closure activities?
Mm-hmm.
That's a question for the committee, I think, more so than Pablo.
I think so. That's a good question. Marlene?
Yeah, we haven't gotten any word. You're speaking about the moratorium that happened a while ago. So we haven't gotten any updates regarding the moratorium. SAPO on their end has not denied this application in the system. So it's moving forward in terms of SAPO's approval. The application doesn't say pending, it says approved in the SP system.
I'm happy to make a motion.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any other questions or comments. So Jessica, you feel free to make the motion.
Great. Motion to support the application for both street closure on East 100 between Lexington Avenue and 3rd Avenue, supported by Union Settlement.
I'll second that.
Seconded by, all right, so motion made by Jessica, seconded by Carlos. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Adem Brija,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donado,
Present, not voting.
Judith Fabaro, Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you, Pablo. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Have a good night. All right, we're going to number 14. Third annual 129 reunion block party, August 27th, 2022, 12 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Location is East 129th Street between Madison and Park. It is a full street closure. Is the applicant here?
The applicant isn't here. Your procedures say that if a block party happens in 3 consecutive years, that they don't have to attend, but she submitted her documents.
Okay, so with that, Carlos, you made a motion to approve?
Yes, I did.
Okay, motion to approve by Carlos. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Miguel. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Sure. Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato, Judith Ferraro, Jessica Morris.
Yep.
Thank you.
Angela Donadell says yes.
Thank you. Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. And then I think we will go to the final one, number 15. Okay, El Barrio Salsa Culture Event, Block Party, June 4th, 2022, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Location is East 115th between 3rd and Lexington Avenue, full street closure. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you? Just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your event.
Hi, my name is Brian Martinez. This is the second year that I'm applied. I did it last year. You guys approved it. This is something we do for the community, for the old timers who want to come out and enjoy music, and they come out and they dance and they, socialize and everything. Carlos goes, so he knows he's there all the time. And, this is a thing that we do every year and everything. We usually do it on 115 that we have music, which is DJs. I have I don't know, Peggy's still there. Peggy Morales, she's the one that started this. She's from the district leader, and she has started doing it. During the COVID time, where they had the people going out and social distance, just to mingle. And when the Maqueta was closed, that was a place where people could enjoy and just get together and dance and everything like that. We did it last year. It was very successful. So we want to do it again this year, and I'm applying again to see what can we do.
Thank you so much. With that being said,
I make a motion to approve. I think it's an excellent event. It recognizes the seniors that go to the event, and it's peacefully, and I think kudos to Brian, did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. So motion to approve by Carlos. Do I have a
Second.
Seconded by Miguel. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donato,
Yes.
Judith Ferraro, Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I was
and
muted.
thank you, Judith, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
You have one more. Do you remember I sent a revised agenda last week?
Yeah, okay, no, all right. So now that was a false conclusion. Now the final one, number 16. GHDT Evangelism Day, religious event, May 7th, 2022, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But East 111th between Lexington and Park Avenue. It's a full street closure. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hi, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your event.
Good evening, Community Board 11. My name is Matthew Regans, Minister Matthew Regans. I'm with the Greater Highway Deliverance Temple Ministries, 132 East 111th Street. We are trying to bridge the gap with church, community, and cops. We would like to be a presence of positive and safe emotion and positive, constructive communication betwixt the two. On this date, we have certain tables set up in the vicinity of our building, of our house of prayer, where we can offer lessons, biblical lessons, where we can offer prayer, where we can offer, just interacting with the community. The summer is approaching and there's violence all around. There's things happening that I have assisted Apostle Ramos, or Pastor Ramos. You may have known her from Garden of Gethsemane Ministries Incorporated. And we have done several shooting responses for young people losing their life. We have done marches, and we want to be in the community where people can feel safe. The Greater Highway Deliverance Temple has been established since 1959. My bishop, my spiritual father, Bishop Liston Page Sr., he's been there for over 60 something years. And by the grace of God, he's still alive, and he's turning 84 years of age. He's a young 84, very strong and very appreciative of the life that God has given him. But I don't want the community not to know that we still care, and we still want positive influences, and we still want to be a part of the diversity and the future with love. We move in love, and we want the people to feel us and to know that they have a safe place with us. We want the community to understand the dialogue and the thoughts and the cares that the cops have, that the precinct has. Or we are partnering with the 25th precinct, and vice versa. We want the precinct and the officers who diligently risk their life day and night for us to know our thoughts and how we feel, and see that we love, and there's still people that have a great deep concern for El Barrio, Spanish Harlem, to thrive and to blossom in the most wholesome way as well. We don't want to do anything except spread the love and let people know that we're there, so that maybe if God hear our prayers, and maybe if community can get with us and the cops as well, we can be the mediator and the bridge to communication, to positive growth, not only for my bishop's age group, who are much older and who have worked diligently over many decades to try to do something impactful for their children's grandchildren's. And I'm a young man, and I want to be involved with the community. I'm growing up, and I don't want to let my elders down, and I don't want to let my age group or the age group after me down, where there's not a face, a familiar face, a warm face that will engage in love. And so that's what it is, that we are trying to have access to, and we want the community board 11 to know that Greater Highway Deliverance Temple, we may not have a representative in many of years. People who were active and attached to it have gone on to be with the Lord. They have passed on, but I believe that there's new faces and new conversations and new ideas, fresh ideas, and young people who want to grow up the right way, that just need an opportunity. So I'm willing to learn. I'm very eager to be a part of what you guys do, and to just be able to be a piece of the bridge for community cops in the church, especially in Spanish Harlem and El Barrio. And I pray that I haven't taken up too much of your time. I've been on since the 6 o'clock hour, and I know people are getting tired. So I want to be humbled before you and tell you thank you very much for the opportunity of allowing me to speak on behalf of Greater Highway Deliverance Temple at 132 East 111th Street. Thank you so very much for hearing a young person like me, who really do not have any stock with you guys, who have not had a relationship I'm trying to build. And I want to thank Apostle Ramos for laying the groundwork for me and allowing me to have the connection with the 25th precinct and the community board 11. So thank you so very much, individually and collectively, to all of you who have been patient with me and allow me to exegete on how I feel.
Thank you, Minister. And you might be young, but your words are wise. The event sounds beautiful. That was well stated. And thank you for being patient with us as well. Sorry that you just fell last. I feel bad that you had to be here for 3 hours, to be honest. With that being said, do I have any questions, comments? If not, do I?
I do. I have a question.
Okay, Carlos, go ahead.
that where you're located is the 23rd precinct, and you keep on mentioning the 25th precinct. So if you're gonna do something, please involve the 23rd precinct, because that is that area.
My apologies, my mistakes. I'm sorry. The 23rd precinct is located on by Washington Projects, right on
Right, that's
103rd
correct.
Street, I believe. Yes,
Right.
I'm very familiar. I'm a East Harlem native. I've grown up in the community, but I apologize. My mind is a
No
little
problem. I
everywhere
just
at
wanted
this
to make
time.
sure that you included them.
Yes,
So-
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Jessica?
Thanks, Adem, and thank you, Minister. I think it just last night, in fact, and Carlos, I believe you may have been there. There was a robust discussion about some of the challenges that you're bringing up, but also, as it happens, discussion about the very street on which you're proposing to frame your event next month. I think it's you have a set of open ears and perhaps partners with the Public Safety and Transportation Committee. So I would encourage you, if we're back in person next month, to consider attending and introducing yourself there. I think community partners are critical in solving the challenges that you bring up, and it's great to hear more and more taking to the streets to do that work in as many ways as possible. So would encourage you to have a look there. I believe it's the second Tuesday of the month. Public Safety and Transportation where the rubber meets the road is on the streets. And I think the way that you're taking the streets from prayer streets to open streets to dining streets, everything happens on the street. So Public Safety and Transportation would love to hear from you.
Thank you so
Jessica,
very
it's
much.
it's the first Tuesday of the month, Public Safety and
The
Transportation.
first. And how would I make sure I have the correct information, such as the time and things of that nature, and the qualifications that I would need to make sure I am in attendance?
If you visit the CB11 website, the calendar, that's a good place to start. And then you can reach out from there.
Thank you so very much to you all. Thank you so very, very, very much.
So I make a motion to approve the event.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Cooper.
I don't know what time one.
You're muted, Chair. Gotta mute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so there's a motion by Carlos, seconded by Jessica. Marlene, if you don't mind taking the roll.
Or
Thank you, Carlos.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Judith Fabaro,
Yes,
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Miguel Pava,
Yes.
Shavasia Robinson Teague, and Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, good luck, Minister. Thank you for bearing with us. Have a great night and take care.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. Bless you all. God bless you. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move along now. I think that's the end of, but Angela, I see your hand up, so go ahead.
I had a question that I had brought up at another meeting
Okay.
about the Puff Pass and Peace Place with the marijuana dispensary in our community. Did we ever get any more information?
So no, no, we didn't. Again, I don't believe that falls under our purview, but I did hear something interesting, and I don't know if it's true or not. Marlene, maybe you would know better than me. I did hear that SLA has been shorthanded because they've been assigning SLA employees to start reviewing stuff related to marijuana,
Okay,
use or whatever. Is that correct, or am I just making that up?
I don't know about SLA employees being, tasked with reviewing places that are, selling marijuana. But this committee should just prepare themselves now that marijuana is legal, that your purview may change, but we have no idea when that's going to happen. That may happen in 3-4 years from now.
Yeah,
But right,
no.
only tasked with liquor license applications. But the state liquor authority might extend, they might be tasked with also, licensing establishments that want to, sell marijuana.
All right.
but do we
So
even know
we don't
how, like, how did they get there in the first place? There's nothing anywhere that I can find.
I don't think they have a license, if that's what you're asking. I don't,
Okay.
I don't know, but I don't believe the licenses have been granted as far as what I've heard. But I haven't done a deep dive on this because, like, as Marlene said, nobody really knows where this is going in terms of who's going to make the decisions. Are we going to have a new committee made? Is it going to fall under the purview of this committee? But I do totally understand. Can I just finish speaking? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand your concerns because in the meantime, it's happening. So it's like, it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse in some regards. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to get information sometimes about, if I'm going to just be quite frank on this call, it can be difficult to get the information we need about liquor licenses. I can only imagine how challenging it would be to get information about this. But I do appreciate you bringing it up. I will look into it more myself. But yeah, I mean, right now I think it's a big question mark. But yeah, I mean, the concern's there because it's happening, and yet there's a question mark. So with that being said, Judith and then Jessica. Judith.
Yeah, no, all I was gonna say is that it might fall under medicinal. Because I know that they're legalizing medicinal, so
there are medicinal, I think it's going to be two separate things. I think there is medicinal. I think this is, if I'm correct, going to be like recreational, meaning you don't need to walk in there with a prescription or anything like that. You just have to probably be of a certain age, show an ID, whatever, and you can walk out. So this is a different beast, I guess.
Yeah, but we don't know at this point how they're gonna do that.
Well, I think that the places that are popping up, I don't know that they are medicinal is all I'm saying. I know there are medicinal, but I don't know that the one that Angela is referencing, I can't say that that's actually a medicinal marijuana dispensary. But again, I don't really know. Jessica?
Don't they also do the CBD or the oil?
Yeah, I mean, the CBDs like, you can buy like CBD drinks at Whole Foods. So I think that's
get it in the drugstore.
Yeah, like that's a different thing. We're talking about, like, I guess THC would be the ingredient in this, and that's the thing at question. Again, I know very little about all this. Jessica, you had your hand up.
Well, the sort of the medicinal, the certification process is rigorous at this point. That's the only legality of the substance. Am I wrong? Did I miss something?
No, I'm in complete agreement with you. As far as I know, medicinal has been what's been really regulated, and it's this other type of dispensary, which is going to be recreational, that I think are starting to pop up, as Angela's saying, but there is no regulation there. I mean, there's talks of it. It's in the works. I think even law has kind of been written, but it's still a very gray area. All right. With that being said, old business, I don't have any. I don't think anybody else does.
That was my old business.
That was your old business. So we did have old business, but we did it. New business, no new business. But Jessica, your hand is up, so maybe you have.
I'm a bit kind of a troublemaker. I'm wondering, and whether this is the right place to bring it up. I think there's probably no better place, but what it would take to legalize or so if you go fishing, you need a permit. If you barbecue, maybe you need a permit. I think, there are sanctioned places where barbecuing happens, but culturally in our neighborhood, barbecuing happens. And I've had the best jerk chicken I've ever had on the corner of 101st and sort of 119th and First Avenue. So I'm wondering if I was just in Los Angeles, South Central, with some amazing corner barbecue. Whatever that exchange point was is, sort of another question, but I know culturally, in some areas of the city, there's a sort of live and let live attitude where, behavior happens and it's not sanctioned, but it's sanctioned. But is it the type of activity there is safety involved, right? Keeping things safe is one thing, but allowing, safe activities to happen with permits is another way that, people can carry on with doing things. So I guess asking whether, and it extends to, and this is maybe where things get a little bit kind of nutty, but urban camping, that's a problem in some areas where encampments are being cleared. But if there were permits for those types of activities, would that be allowable behavior? Should it be considered as such? So I'm just throwing it out on the table as something to scratch our heads on, whether a permit for barbecuing in the same way that you get a fishing permit, and have to sort of understand the rules of safety and requirements at play for safe activities, and whether also urban camping as a more viable solution in sanctioned areas for those who are perhaps unhoused is something that should be regulated and supported.
Maybe that should be brought up at public safety.
Well, I was going to say, I think those are great ideas. I think it touches on public safety. The
Yeah.
name of this committee is licenses and permits. There is no distinction that it only has to be liquor licenses. That's just historically been what this committee is about. Jessica, I think you bring up great points. I'd be interested in looking into that myself. I could also start an email chain. I don't know, I could include the whole committee, also maybe loop in our chairperson, Xavier, bring in Angel, and it's something we can consider. I don't know that I have the authority to start adding things, but I am open to increasing the purview of this committee if it's agreed upon. And I do agree with you about, I support the barbecues and everything, but I can see the angle of it being a safety hazard and, thinking of the fire and everything like that. And you think about what happened in that building in the Bronx, and it's just like, you think certain things will never happen till they happen. So
Okay.
it's good to be proactive. So thank you for
I
that.
will,
Angela,
I will say,
I'll just say, I'm not saying that it's necessarily, there are dangers, absolutely. But it has been happening in parks during the pandemic on the street. I think it's at some point, and I'm sure it's happening in outer boroughs, if it's happening here. And I think the conversation of how to sanction something like that safely, it doesn't start from government saying we should make that, legal or permissible. And typically people who are barbecuing on the corner and the type of community building that happens there, those aren't the type of people that necessarily show up at community board meetings. So I'm kind of advocating for my neighbors up the street who aren't here, but who do what they do. And, sometimes it's an idea to throw out there. Of course, it's problematic, it's contested, but it's something worth considering as a point of culture that's authentic to a place like East Harlem that will disappear as development happens, unless there's a way to continue to sort of say, yeah, we can do this here and it's okay and we'll do it responsibly. So that's what I'm getting at. I don't know if this is the right place, but
I don't either, but we can find out. So yeah, thank you. All right, Judith, let me just recognize it's long, Judith, Angela, and then I am going to.
No, my concern was, I didn't understand your position on the barbecuing, because that has been a cultural dynamic in many instances. I've lived here probably longer than all of you. You could barbecue in the park, and then they changed the rules. And so you have a dynamic of community that it's like block parties that they just don't ask for a street permit. And these are community events. People come together, they do celebrations because maybe they can't go someplace else where you can barbecue, because that might require a car and then packing up. And so, but that's not what you were saying. So that's why I put my hand down, but I did want to express that I was feeling
Thank you.
confusion as to what it was.
Well, I just wanted to say in Marcus Garvey Park, Mount Morris, they have specific areas and they barbecue all summer long there, constantly. And I don't think anyone has particular permits or anything, but it's allowable in Marcus Garvey Park, and they barbecue constantly.
But Jessica was talking more about it actually, like I know, I see people, they barbecue on the street. They
Yes,
take up
me
part
too,
of the
yeah.
sidewalk. They
Yeah,
have
I know.
parties in the neighborhood where I am. They
Yeah.
literally will have a party with balloons on the sidewalk barbecuing.
Yeah,
So I
I've
have
seen that.
some question, but if you're thinking about getting people permits to be able to do that in designated situations, then maybe they should like get a license to reserve the slot that would be for a car, because you know you have enough distance to, you know, make mistakes. So that I'm for. So
And to have, you know, access to the right amount of water within the
Yes.
right area, and sort of towels that are wet in case there's anything, you know, like when there's rules. If you want to play, there's rules. And I think to do it safely, Angela, you're touching on this, you know, an accessible way to build community that feels comfortable for, you
The
know,
community.
different cultures. That's not allowed right now, except in sanctioned, very limited sanctioned areas.
Very limited sanctioned area. Sorry, I know this meeting has been quite
no,
long enough.
it's all appreciated. Thank you. So I don't think there's any other new business.
Can I make a motion to adjourn and wish
Oh,
everybody?
there is no motion to adjourn. We can just adjourn. You can also,
Longest.
you can also just,
I'm ready to go to sleep.
I would not have minded if you left. I would have totally understood it. Thank you everyone for
Good
bearing
night.
with us tonight. And
Good night, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, bye now.